Last time on the wilds of Valandiir, Team CC, having spent time in the bowels of the Cobb Prison Mine, allied against the Sheriff Gorg and his wranglers, as well as Reverend Thanley, the devil Zalric in disguise. The battle waylaid relentlessly, with several members of the party falling unconscious before a fane of magical energy, a vortex of raw arcane power. Apparently what the Reverend and the Sheriff were after all along. After slaying the Reverend over and over, it is revealed that the Cambion could return instantly from death. Maven, racked with the trauma of previous tyrants and their trail of victims, as well as a sense of duty to protect the innocent, felt the pull of Pelor to do what she could and realized the only move to ensure the Devil's plans for Cobb were dashed was to keep Zalric engaged in battle in the Hells. How long was Kravish's only guess. A hovering pinpoint of sparks is all that remains of the portal to a fiery layer of Bator that Maven just disappeared behind. A residual crack of electricity smashes and echoes against the walls as the unstable Fane swirls and pulses with chaotic arcane energy behind you.
I am just completely gobsmacked right now. I am just
I'd like to do an Arcana check to see if I can kind of identify some of the mystic energy here and see if it's something that maybe we can replicate in the future or find, something again that might help us.
Okay.
I am going to give both Axton and Baranor 3d6 worth of health, so let me roll that now.
Okay. I'm going to bring up what they had when they went down.
So
I'm
that's
pretty sure
Baranor.
Okay.
So he gets 6 health points back, and then Axton gets 7 points back.
All right. And it helps if everyone's on the map, too. Just... Okay. So 6 and 7. All right. You will notice that aside from the few wounds that Axton and Baranor suffered in the battle, they don't look any worse for wear. They don't look like pale or gaunt or anything like that. They're just unconscious. So yeah, you kind of weave the lattice of healing into them through your spell, and you can see their little wounds closing and scabbing and stuff like that. They're not moving at all. They're perfectly silent. But yeah, you do see life returning. So they're at least not dead. So that because that had some effect.
Okay.
Ken or so you notice on the edges of the map, you notice that here are like. So you could imagine what the difference between like a fake diamond and a real diamond would look like as far as there being like imperfections and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at the edges of this wall and you see these kind of fist-sized crystals that are jutting out from the rock, almost like cracking their way out. And you being, pretty knowledgeable on how magic works, you pick up that this is a fast-growing kind of formation that looks like it's no more than 5 minutes old. Okay, there's no dust on it at all. It precedes you walking into this room because you kind of clocked the room as you walked in here and noticed stuff like this. But your magical knowledge, your passive intelligence tells you that these crystals are something that could aid you in absorbing whatever knowledge you're gleaning because of its natural or magical, artificial kind of way, their growth. And you do feel like they could break easily with your hand. So, if you could please give me an Arcana check and an investigation check. Kravish. Ay.
Arcana. 28
Yep.
and investigation is also 28.
Double 28s. Okay, you're zeroed in here. Kravish, there, like I said, there is a floating kind of little cluster of sparks hovering in the air where that portal closed. You're just kind of staring at it.
I am. Honestly, I'm just kind of like shell shocked. I'm just kind of walk over to where those sparks are, to where that wall was that they just went right through.
Yeah. It's just a little tiny collection of sparks that's still kind of, it's little, it's very little. It would fit in the size of like a golf ball. The little firework display going on right now is very quick. It's like welding slag being fizzled away. It's just this little collection of sparks, and you're getting closer to it, and it's hovering about 3 feet from the nearest wall, just in midair.
Is there any way I can see through it? Is it like a keyhole?
Nope. It just looks like if you were to take an entire evening's worth of fireworks and like set it off within 3 seconds, that's what it looks like.
Okay. So
You know. Oh, go ahead.
Like I said,
You can go ahead.
I'm just like absent-mindedly just staring at it and just trying to process what just happened.
Yeah. You know, the Fane behind you all is still kind of roiling. There's no wind. You'd think it would be like a real disruptive event, but it's actually quite silent. There is kind of like a buzzing that reverberates, and there are these tendrils of electricity that spark and arc out, and you know that people who have touched this thing have fallen unconscious. So with your Arcana check, you and the fact that you're an abjuration wizard, you're pretty confident that the fact that this is a magical nexus of energy, an arcane ward would probably negate its properties because of its magical property.
I'm going to move a little closer.
Yeah. The temperature about 3 feet from the center of the Fane, which is just whipping around with these little octopus-like tentacles of arcane raw energy. You have, by the way, and this goes for everybody who's within 5 feet of it, you have full access to all of your spells if you have the components. You have, like, you couldn't be more powerful magically right now. And you notice that you get right up on it, and you can see in the center of the Fane is about maybe a 3 to 4 inch spinning shaft of like crystalline lattice energy that you feel like you could grip if you wanted to. With your investigation check, you also know that your comrades that are with you are pretty magically inclined. So you feel like maybe the components in the room might aid in connecting your protective ability, perhaps. You got a pretty good look at this magically grown crystal, and it seems so weirdly charged with power, yet to hold it, it's just like an inert crystal.
I'm going to try to grab it with the mage hand.
Okay. Yeah. You I don't know, can you feel what mage hand feels? How does that work? Or is it just respond to your commands?
Yeah, it just responds. Like, I don't think I get any sensory.
That'd be cool.
It doesn't say that I do or don't.
Okay. Well, tell you what. It's made of magic, so I'll say that any knowledge you glean off of what it encounters physically is through a magic lens, like a magical understanding. No real tactile or, can't like touch a tree with mage hand and find out what kind of tree it is through touching it or anything like that. But as you grasp the center of this Fane with your mage hand, you notice the fingers of your hand slip right through it. There's not really any effect. Koza and Kravish, you kind of both turn towards the middle of the room at this point. Kravish, you'll notice, though, as you turn, that little collection of sparks isn't going away. It's you sit here for, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing closed fast. It was like, shoo, and just into this little bundle of sparks. So you'll notice that as you turn, it's not weakening, it's not slowing down, it's not dimming, it's just there. Koza, you also spin and see your daughter Neela.
I am going to run over to her, try to get her out of any bonds that she's in, and just give her a hug.
Yeah, she's just got shackles. They're locked. Yeah. You don't have a key. So you try to shake them loose, and she's like, no. And she's leaning on you. She's crying uncontrollably. Everybody around you is kind of crying.
I'm just going to say nothing and just hug her.
Yeah, she disappears in the folds of your prison robes and your big, heavy, furry, muscly arms. And you give her a great big Shrek hug, and she just melts within your grasp. And everybody kind of like leans on each other and for like 2 seconds, and then people start shaking their wrists to try to get themselves free. Baranor is unconscious, so is Axton. Baranor, you both know, or three know, he has a little makeshift thieves tool in his little folds of his prison pants. And you are all surrounded by like 3 wranglers, and there are guards here. Race is here, the pretty much leader of the prison. So yeah, we're gonna not have to really roll much to say that everybody starts to be let go and let free. Race is kind of like spinning around and looking at everybody, and looks like he's counting heads and nodding at people that are kind of like looking at him for what to do next. And he starts kind of looking at all of you, and he's like, do you want me to help you kind of get your team in order, or do you are you all right if I kind of lead the exodus out of here and get people to safety?
I think we're okay, at least for now. Well, no, because there's still imps in the room, aren't there?
There are about 8 imps now. This room is what, like 60, 70 feet across. So they're on the ceiling. And
are they doing anything?
They're kind of There's 3, 4 of them over here that are like harassing people. So yeah, they're kind of, there's people that are because there's, I don't know, maybe 24 people in waiting, and a bunch of people in this pile of bodies right here. And yeah, there are imps, but they're tiny creatures. You do see the guards kind of swatting them. One of the guards kind of staples an imp to the wall with his big glaive. So, yeah, is there anything you want to do about that? We don't have to roll initiative.
Oh, I'm trying to see if I have any clear things I could do.
Yuno's going to launch off fire bolts like he's a Wild West gunslinger.
Okay. Give me. It's a cantrip, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So give me 6 attacks. Can you knock those out? You got to be a 13. Imps have a pretty low AC.
So 23, 19, 20, 22.
Okay.
25 and 21.
Yeah, I think those are all hits. Okay. So there are 3 that are definitely actively working on these people over here. So I'll say out of those 6 attacks, they all land, and you just snuff these 3 things out. They are... Let's see here. Oh, you know what? A fire... You said firebolt?
Yep.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Every single one of those bounce off the imps. Sorry. They don't... They hit... They don't do a damn thing.
I'm going to get into the middle of the group that I'm in.
Yeah. Well,
And
we'll say you're right over here because you're over where Neela is.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to kind of pull her and make my way towards the center of that group. And then
Okay.
I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians.
Okay. So put yourself where you want to be. She's over here.
That might be harder. Okay, here we go. I'm right here.
Yeah, okay. Spirit Guardians. What's the range? It's probably the same as
It's a
Karish.
15-foot radius on myself.
Okay.
So any...
I think this will work. I may have to shrink your actual mini, but I think this will work. Okay, how's that? Yeah, I got to
a
shrink
little more
you.
than 15 feet.
Yep,
Oh, jeez.
because you are 2x3 squares, so I'm gonna make you teeny tiny. There you go.
That's all right.
I have to do
Okay.
this with. I wish it would recognize that it's. I wish it would do the radius right if I have to make you a large mini for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
right.
So all of these imps have to make a wisdom save.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, 3 of them. Okay, that's a 9. That's a 17. And that's a 7. One of them passes.
One of them passes. He still takes half damage.
Okay.
That's 3d8 radiant damage. Yeah, I'm just clearing these fuckers out. So that's... I didn't roll 3d... Oh, that was... Wait, what? Oh.
Roll
okay.
3d8.
So that's 9 for those who fail... Or no, it's 18 for those who failed and 9 for those who passed.
Okay. The one who passed gets... So, what is this? This is a...
We'll say... Oh god, what do they show up as? This is the first time I've cast Spirit Guardians.
Yeah.
Huh.
We already got Flitty Fairies.
Yeah. We'll say...
What would
God.
Koza's Spirit Guardians look like?
I don't know.
Butterflies.
I think
with-
for now they'll just be balls of light until I can think of something.
Okay. That's
They'll be
cool.
like... They'll just be like glowing orbs.
Yeah, I tell you what. In this room, your little Spirit Guardians it's magical, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like little tiny balls of energy, like the Fane. That's kind of what's on your mind right now.
Yeah.
And as far as and that's what they show up as. Very,
Or,
very
you know
bright.
You know what? Since these are imps, I'll make them little like cherub angels.
Okay.
Just for thematic appropriateness.
Oh, there's an epic blood war going on around Koza. Little angels versus little fiends. And yeah, they all get chewed up. One of them, for now, is barely hanging on. They all get flashed with energy, and 2 of them just disintegrate into sparkles. And one of them is like hanging on, but he just gets all of the flesh on his tiny little skeletal body kind of rended, and his tail is broken and hanging. There's holes ripped through his wings. He immediately drops to the ground. So I'll say one of them immediately gets out of that range right there. I'll say he definitely does that. I unfortunately have to get rid of Sunny, and I have to get rid of. I think Maven's still on the board. How long does your spiritual last, by the way?
I think a minute.
Yeah, it's
Either 1 minute or 10.
Okay, yeah, you're Is it
lasts a minute? It is not.
Okay.
It's just a minute.
Well, Axton's spiritual weapon is gone too. Oh no, I think I did remove Maven from the board. Okay. All right. So one of the imps, and he is going to flee. Just so you all know, he is making his way this way. He's using all of his movement. He's using dash actions and everything. Does anybody? I'll give you one chance to interact with him as he's escaping, or let him go. Nothing. Okay.
I say we just let him go.
What'd you say there, Corey?
I said I'm really not in as much of a position to do anything, so.
Okay. All right. So, Karish, you are 10 feet from the center of the Fane. You have full access, I think, to all of your spells as well. Yeah. I said 5 feet earlier. I misspoke. I meant a 10-foot radius from the center of it. So that if you're touching that border, then you're good for all of your spells. Yeah. All right. So Oh, go ahead.
I said, I am going to see if I've got it up. I am going to try to cast Lesser Restoration.
Okay.
On Baranor.
And do me a favor, pop it in the chat so I can look at the conditions. Okay. It doesn't seem to have any effect on either of these two, nor does it have any effect on anybody on the piles. Okay. I will say this. Koza, you were healing the boys, so I'll say that as you just scanned the pile of bodies, you notice that they all seem to have the same condition physically as Baranor and Axton, and you get the feeling that these people aren't dead either. I mean, at least not all of them. You do also see bits and pieces of the sheriff.
Damn.
Yeah, he got separated into like 16 pieces. Is
the sheriff's head still available?
I'll say about, you know what? Roll a d4. Let's do a little rollies here.
Is his shotgun still available?
His shotgun is at the feet of one of the dead wranglers as it kind of flew out of his hand. 1. Okay, no, don't worry. That's not a critical or anything. It's just 1 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, now go ahead and roll a D100.
Oh, boy.
So complicated rolling about his head. But you are the crown collectors. I get it.
That 10's dice is cocked. It really was. It was cocked between a 2 and an 8.
Do you want to re-roll it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I got to be quicker on my camera so I can show you guys these.
I thought about filming I have this really super awesome skull dice tower that Noah got me at Comic-Con. And I thought about, I think I did for like 10 minutes of like taking a picture every time I roll and posting it real quick. But that's like, it really is inconvenient during a battle for me to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I would love to have a dice cam. Maybe next campaign.
43.
Yeah.
43. All right. So a little less than half of his head is missing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you decide. I'll let you create it and decide which part of his head is intact, because I know what you're looking for.
Uh-huh. I'm going to say that the part of his head from his jaw down,
yeah,
is missing. You know, you can make out his eyes. You got the majority of his nose, and then the majority of like his actual skull, like about 80% of the skull.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'll slide that damage around a radius a little bit to its right, as I'll say that the curve goes down the front of his lip and down his chin. So, and also takes off on the other side. It slides up and grabs part of his ear.
Mm-hmm.
So there's part of his jaw with one tusk just kind of dangling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take that. I'm also going to take one of the spears laying down here.
Okay.
And I am going to skewer that head on the tip of the spear.
Yeah, no problem. Your spear exits the top of Gorg's head. His head is pretty big. So it's like you got like a pumpkin on there. It's pretty massive.
Yeah. It's like, let's see the resistance shore up after this.
Right. Okay, so for those keeping track, there was, as far as enemies that are on the loose, you've got a Wrangler that disappeared in this direction. You have an Imp, as you can see, disappeared in that direction. This Imp and these two got killed by guards and Race. So let's get rid of them. So you've got, and then you had one that went down this direction. So yeah, you got some people on the loose. That's what you've got as far as open hostilities. Although they are not hostile to you right now, they're all gone.
They're mainly just getting the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah. You are one of the people that are the closest to the Fane. So you go to. Did you say you went to grab it with your hand?
With Mage Hand.
Yeah, Mage Hand went right through it. But you're close. You're about 3 or 4 feet away from the middle. So far you know that Mage Hand doesn't seem to affect the middle of the Fane. And then you've got these crystals that you picked up one of. I'll say that the fact that you picked, would you say you kept it or did you put it down?
I put it down.
Yeah. So what would you like to do now?
I'm just gonna stand around and wait to see kind of what everybody else does.
All right. Okay.
All right. Now we've already, just to catch back up, we've said Race is heading off to help shore up the rest of the prisoners and to help kind of mop things up. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, he is departing. He's leaving a guard with everybody over here. Who's going to kind of oversee the people that are leaving and making sure everything is okay and all that stuff. And yes, Race and his guy will take off and lead the people out and kind of get back to work, I guess you could say.
All right. They're getting back to mop up. We got any ideas, any way we figure out how we can get these guys back here?
I don't know. Can I roll like an Arcana to see if I would know what the hell's wrong with people?
Sure. Yep. You can roll an Arcana and surprisingly a medicine check.
Okay, Arcana's gonna be 18. Medicine is gonna be 12.
Okay. So that's not a bad medicine roll. For this. You are really close to the Fane. You can feel yourself absorbing like raw magical energy through, and it becomes more like a torrent the closer you get to the middle. So there's no, like I said, there's no wind, but there are these whipping tendrils of magical energy just bathing you with radiation in a way. You start to see on the chests of people that are unconscious these very faint threads of light. And they all kind of emit from their chest and wave through the air and end up in the middle of the Fane. And as you're just sitting here the reactor open, you're getting bathed like a Hulk. So you do absorb some arcane, through osmosis, some arcane understanding that there is something inside this Fane, like the mysterious center of a black hole, that tethers all of these creatures to it. And the only way to untether them would be inside the Fane. You don't know what will happen if you touch the center of this vortex physically. You don't know if it will close or if it will get bigger. The only thing you do know is that you've touched a substance in here that would link you and anybody else who held it through some kind of magical effect if it touching the middle of the vortex.
Can I try to dispel the magic?
Sure. Just like in general, or are you going to try to close the Fane?
I'm going to try to separate Baranor from the magic string.
Okay. All right. What are the boundaries of dispel magic?
So choose one creature, object, or effect within range. Any ongoing spell of level 3 or lower on the target ends. For each ongoing spell of level 4 or higher, make an ability check.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to definitely roll for that.
Yes, so I am going to... So the DC is 10 plus that spell's level.
Okay.
So I got an 18.
All right. Nothing happens. You kind of extend your hand, and I'll say that everywhere that your hand touches when when your dispel is emitting, you can see parts of the Fane dim and then pulse back bright again. And these little thin ribbons that you're starting to be able to see, they waver, almost like if there was a spider web across a room and you blew your breath towards it. It wavers, but it doesn't break.
Well, I'm going to try to dispel it again.
Okay. Who are you targeting, by the way? Are you targeting... Because there's about a dozen or so civilians on the ground.
I'm just doing the one on Baranor.
The one on Baranor? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get Baranor kind of up and running.
Okay.
So 24.
24. That you see that thread that's kind of held by his chest snaps, and you immediately see Baranor gasp as if he can't get a full breath. His eyes roll back into the back of his head, and you start to see his limbs convulse and curl in like a dead spider. What does everybody do? I'll say that Koza, you spin your head around and hear this commotion, and you are watching your friend die.
Oh, hang on. I just got a new spell that might help. Hang on.
Okay. Kervish, what are you doing?
I am looking to see if I can any way I can cast greater restoration.
Uh-huh. What you got, Koza?
I'm looking. I found something 10 minutes ago. I can't find it now.
Well, in the meantime, I'm going to roll a death save first
for
Baranor. Let's see.
Oh my god, my app needs to stop glitching out.
Okay, that's Baranor's first failure. I'm going to allow you guys to, make an observational check of some kind. If you want to make an investigative check, medicine check, arcana check, just to kind of ascertain what to make of what just happened.
gonna do an Arcana check.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know if I push him into the Fane, if that will reconnect him and not murder him.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 22.
22. Yeah, I mean, this is how he became in this condition in the first place. Was being thrown into the Fane. At this point, you don't feel like Baranor would get torn apart like Gorg, because just being this close, you're, like I said, you're kind of absorbing understanding of this thing, not in its entirety, but in general. And you get the feeling that whoever comes in contact with it, if they be magically inclined, it keeps the effect on them kind of lower than it would be for someone like Gorg, who was definitely not magically inclined. He was, obviously he was some kind of fighter or barbarian or something like that. And the Fane tore him apart. Almost like if you have magic, it kind of softens the blow of this thing's effect on you. Do you have an arcane ward up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's something that you usually do every day, right?
Yep, and it's an ability, not a spell, so it wouldn't get muted. And
you don't need materials or semantics or anything like that. So you're able, so you get the feeling that that's the reason that you're able to get this close, is your ward. And the more magically inclined you are, the less damage this would have on you if you ran into it. Now, you know that Baranor uses ranger magic. You know that Axton uses cleric's magic. So that's maybe why they weren't torn apart. No idea why these townsfolk aren't torn apart either, but they look just as unconscious as Baranor and Axton. So, I'm sorry?
I'm going to try moving into the center of the Fane.
Yourself?
That's where all this originated from, right?
Yeah. I don't know what you mean by all of this, but yeah.
Well, I determined that the source of whatever is attaching to Baranor and all the others is kind of in the middle of this, right?
Yeah. And like I said, you can sense that it's not just like a spinning ball of energy. There is an object of this lattice like crystal rotating in the middle. It's about 3 inches wide, rotating in the middle of this Fane. And you tried to grasp it with your mage hand, and it went right through it. You can get as close to a foot to it, and you can see and feel something is spinning maybe 3 times a second, pretty quick. It's a physical object within this vortex of light that just kind of waves with tendrils in all direction and like arcing energy that doesn't seem to shock you or hurt you.
I'm gonna try to push forward and grab the spinning crystal.
Okay. You all watch grab the spinning crystal, and as he wraps his fingers around it, his eyes go white. He throws his head back, and you can see he's just stock still. And light is emitting from his mouth and from his eyes. And he's not moving.
Dude.
I don't really have anything that could get in his head. See what he's seeing.
I try to yell towards him, but as I can see, he's not moving at all. They're not making any motion. I'll try to use the message spell to whisper a message to him.
Okay. What do you say to the
basically
still strange-looking,
Just trying to whisper to him, dude, what the hell are you doing?
I would work based on the information I had.
You know, as far as you can tell, you hear this. And like everything he said, you hear like in super slow motion. As a matter of fact, you don't really know what he said. You just hear this sound wherever you are. And I'll say that, Ravish, in your head, you hear something like this.
Okay, don't know what the hell that was about, but...
All right, I'm going to roll another death save for Baranor.
I'm going to cast... I'm going to see if I can cast...
That's a pass. Oops. All right. Greater Restoration. Okay. Let's see what that does.
Oh, if I can cast it. No, because I'm out of 5th level spell slots. I can't cast it.
Okay.
And you can't upcast it.
So here's the deal. You know, I'm going to say that you briefly, for a very short period of time, saw this. If you're on the map, you saw this very briefly. It looked like a cave, sort of like you're standing in. Everything was very chaotic. There was lots of bolts of energy and, you know, lights all over the place. And then you get popped back out into the room that you are standing in. And your hand kind of gets shoved away from the Fane. If, you know, that's what you experienced. I'm going to say that you failed your passive strength test. And it was kind of like holding. You guys ever been to the mall and you see those electricity rods on it's like a video, or it's like a game, and you put in a quarter and it makes you feel like you're being electrocuted. Like that's what it felt like. It was vibrating so strong that it just kind of threw your hand off of it. Let's see here.
All right, I'm going to try to cast a 2nd level healing word on Baranor.
Okay.
Because I've got nothing else for him.
Koza, what are you doing? Because you're kind of making sure that Neela's okay, and she's a little speechless, and she's also kind of, you know, turning and helping other people around her. And yeah, you turn around and you watched your friend take a death gasp, and it looks like he is dying.
Yeah. What does this do? Does this do anything to heal?
Your healing word on Baranor looks like it has a little bit of effect. It makes him look a little better. His wounds close, and the color returns to his face a little bit more. But he is still he does not rise. He does not come to consciousness.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot that isn't just healing spell. Like, I don't have any conditional things. I have remove curse, but I don't think this is a curse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick him up and start walking closer to the Fane with him.
Okay. Just give me an athletics check, I guess. Picking him up, unless you have. I guess he's a half elf, right? He's a little guy.
He's a little guy.
Give me a strength.
Pick him up. Yeah.
Yeah, you pick him up. You pick him up. No problem. And as you draw closer to the Fane, you see the color return to his face, and the gauntness in his eyes sort of secede a little bit. And you're right next to, at this point, who is sort of looks like he's kind of shaking his head and recovering from something that happened to him a second ago. And you also look and can see this fastly spinning, almost like if you know what a rain stick is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, kind of spinning in the air, and it's made of this white lattice crystal, barely visible as it's very, very bright as you approach. And Baranor starts to look a little better, but he's still limp, not moving, and you don't feel that feeling of life. He feels a little lighter.
What is going on here?
Hang on, let me find the spell. Can I cast Dispel Magic on him while he's close to the...
Remember, that's what got him in this in the first place.
Well, then let me cast Detect Magic while he's there, so at least we know what it is.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast Detect Magic on him.
On who?
On Baranor.
Okay. I would say he is giving off absolutely no aura of magic whatsoever, aside from like the little... He's got a couple of motes of energy coming from his pockets.
Okay.
But he is like, if you were looking at him with the thermal goggles, he would be blue. Let's
yeah, I don't have a whole lot of help. That isn't just straight healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I burned a lot of my spell slots in the fight early on, so I'm limited, especially without material components.
Ooh, did I stump the party? Are you gonna let me defeat you here? Come on, boys.
My stuff that could potentially help is just healing.
Uh-huh.
I mean...
I am enjoying this tense nature. I'm about to roll another death save.
26 insight. Give me something.
Yeah, like...
Throw me a bone.
We don't know what we're dealing with.
All right, I'll tell you what. With a 26... Go ahead. Ooh, did
Does Gentle Repose do anything?
Bear. Does what?
Does Gentle Repose do anything?
Gentle Repose.
I ain't dead yet.
How does that work?
It says I touch a corpse or other remains.
Protected from decay? Okay. You get the feeling that Baranor now cannot become undead.
Okay.
That lasts for how long?
That lasts
10 days. 10 days. Yeah. Good deal. Okay. So for 10 days, you feel like he won't rot. Koza, Kravish, you also both can see. Oh, I won't display. Hold on. Oh, there we go. You get the feeling that you can see these threads leading back to the middle of the Fane as well. At this point, Kravish, you are inches away from Baranor's like leg touching this spinning rod in the middle of the Fane. And you feel like, as you're now absorbing raw, magical, arcane energy, you get the feeling that he gets better every inch that you're closer to the Fane before touching it. And you, that's a pretty high insight as you're picking the DM's brain. Every single person that's laying here that has one of those threads attaching them to it, got it when they were thrown into it. Like as soon as like you're kind of recounting history of the battle and you're watching them toss civilians into the Fane and they get popped out, and you're with your arcane like kind of connection to the Fane itself, you can recount that as soon as they popped out, they had one of these threads attached to their chest.
What happens if I cast Spare the Dying on him?
So we've got
let's look that up.
Options: either try to pull them further away from it, or go back through again and see if they can get reconnected. They can get their tethers detached.
He is not a living creature, bud. He is technically a corpse. There is a damn stink bug on my light. I gotta kill this thing real quick.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Hang on. You said he's a corpse?
Yeah, he's
like he's dead.
He's making death saves. Well, I guess no, he's unconscious. I guess he is a living creature.
Okay, so then I'm gonna cast Spare the Dying on him.
Okay.
That just makes him stable so that he's not dying anymore.
All right. It has no effect.
Shit. I mean, that and freaking Revivify are all I've got that could help.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
yeah, you probably don't have enough diamonds? Although you do have components.
So.
All right, what are you doing? You kind of come to after your first attempt to grasp this object. You turn and you see that everyone's kind of huddled around Baranor. Kravish is kind of cradling him. He's like standing right next to you. What do you do?
I'm going to pull Baranor closer to the Fane.
Okay, he's like an inch away. You just want him to touch it?
Yep.
Okay, everybody make dexterity saving throws, please.
Nat 20 for a 25.
Cool.
Ooh, yeah, cool.
27.
27? Nice.
20.
Oh my god. Okay, you all are standing. The Fane is sort of in front of and between Koza and Kravish, and then whips around so that you form like a triangle around the spinning lattice-like rod in the middle of this Fane. And kind of grabs Kravish around the shoulders on the other side of it, and you guys are all like lit up with like blinding light from the middle, and you just feel kind of pull Kravish into the Fane, and Baranor's skin touches it, and you feel this detonation of like force that forces you all to kind of rest hard on your heels. You all slide back about 3 feet, and you hear Baranor kind of go. Life returns to his body, and he is still unconscious, although now you all three can clearly see a bright thread leading to the middle of the Fane. And Kravish, he kind of pulled you into the Fane as well, and as you touched it, you also saw this cavern of crackling energy, like a brief vision of you standing in the middle of this room. And you heard this very brief booming voice. It was almost half of a word, and you didn't catch it before you were thrust out because you just had like a brief graze against it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say between Spare the Dying and you touching him to the Fane, it looks like Baranor looks definitely better than he just did a minute ago.
All right, well, we got to be able to do the same thing with all these others.
Well, he's not conscious. He's just connected by the same thread that they all are now as well.
Okay.
So all you did was kind of give him life back without, and replenish that thread on his chest.
Okay, so we hadn't really done anything to get him out of it. He just...
Yeah, you brought him back to 0 from negative.
Gotcha.
So then can I cast... Hang on. Can I just cast Cure Wounds now that he's at 0?
Yeah.
And see if that does anything?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a D8 plus 3. So he gets 7 points. Does that do anything?
Yeah, it fully closes the little like scars and scabs on his face and stuff like that, and makes his skin nice and shiny. But he is still unconscious. God
damn it!
I'll say you definitely brought him. I'll say you definitely brought him up to full health.
We have Eric some way how to disconnect him from this thing without killing him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running out of ideas and spell slots.
You and me both.
As you're just sitting here looking at this thing and you got real super close to it again, you feel through your arcane connection to it that these threads definitely tether these creatures to the Fane, And you feel like the only way to disconnect them is wherever they're anchored at. And you definitely felt yourself transport to a different place when you grasped the middle of the Fane. And as you let go, you feel like you came back here. Like you definitely went somewhere.
Okay, I think I got a thing for this. Let me see if I got the chutzpah. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Koza, Kurvish, what would you like to be doing at this moment?
I don't know.
All right.
So he doesn't have. Does he still have to make death saves?
No.
Okay, good.
No, he does not.
Do like a Guardian of the Galaxy, and like the three of us connect up and touch this damn thing to transport over.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's try it.
Yay! I love the effort mentality in D&D.
I mean, nothing else is working.
Yeah, nothing else is working, and I'm feeling like I'm given a stick of butter and a raccoon and being told to build a bridge.
Yeah.
What does that even mean, man? I'm giving you good clues here, guys. Come on. All right, so you and Koza are going to touch individually. Touch the middle of the Fane.
Well, I'll probably put my hand on Kurvish's shoulder.
Mm-hmm. And see if Yuno will join up as well.
Okay.
All right, let's go for it.
All right.
Are we about to go to like?
I do like the reference to Guardians of the Galaxy that feels apropos.
Mm-hmm.
The three of you stand equidistant from the center of the... Oh, what are you doing with Baranor? Are you going to hold him still?
No, I'm going to put him down.
Okay. He flops down. He's fine. And the three of you kind of surround the middle of this Fane, and you're just kind of blasted with light. And all three of you kind of look at each other and come to the same kind of idea at the same time. And you extend your hands, and the three of you grasp this spinning rod. I need a strength save from everybody.
Okay.
7.
7.
Oh boy. 7. Okay. How about Koza? 3 for 3? All right.
Okay.
Kurvish and Yuno, yeah, you grab it and it's like rotating and vibrating and there's like electricity and energy just coursing through your hand and it forces your fingers away. Koza, however, you get transported to a cave surrounded by crackling energy that looks kind of like it's kind of like the cave you were in a minute ago, but there's things that are different. And you're the only one there. Kurvish and Yuno, would you like to grab it again?
Yeah, we'll reattempt.
Okay. It'd be great if this was the rest of the session.
And I'm going to give Yuno a die of bardic inspiration. All right. Look, you're the only one smart enough to try to be able to figure this stuff out. So Koza's going to need you more than he needs me. And so I'm going to give him a bardic inspiration die so that if he needs to add it to that saving throw.
Okay. Let's roll again then, boys.
14.
14, okay.
You need another one from me or no?
You can add that D10
not from you, no.
That bardic inspiration die. 19 for me.
Okay. Was that 14 with that die, Yuno?
No.
Okay. Do you want to add it?
Do I need to add it?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. That's a 1d8?
Yeah.
1d10.
Ooh.
Another 4 for an 18.
Okay. So Kravish just kind of gives you this little mini pep talk. He has to shout it. It's not because of the wind. It's because you guys are so close to this raw energy that it's just penetrating your cells like a gamma rays. And he kind of gives you a nod, and you watch Kravish grab hold of the object, and his eyes go white. He throws his head back, and light emits from his mouth, from his nostrils, his eyes, and he just looks straight up, leaning backwards, holding onto this thing. And you kind of, oh my God, all right. And you kind of steel your stomach, and you grasp it, and you're all slammed down to the floor of this chamber. All right. Place yourselves on the map, please. Okay. Needs to be bigger, right? Oh, wait. I think the grid is off. Hold on. Let me adjust something real quick. Grid? Yeah, grid's off. Hold on. Okay. So... let's make the right size. There we go. And Kravish.
Yeah, it's not letting me down.
Aw, boo.
I don't know what the problem is. Why I consistently can't.
We've talked about this. It's because Roll20 sucks. Okay, All right. Can you guys move yourselves?
I can move myself.
Okay, now I'm going to take the grid away. So you guys will be able to place yourselves wherever you want on this map without it snapping to a centered area. And, okay. So, welcome to this weird place. As you all look around, you notice that the walls are made of the same stone as the granite in the cave you were in, although there are weird, permeations or patterns that aren't granite-like. Almost like it's like somebody tried to paint granite but didn't really know what it was. But it looks like granite stone. There is this chaotic, raw, rough, crackling, orange and pink and yellow and blue electricity that just rockets across and surrounds this room, occasionally striking the ground. And you just see two of these almost like campfire arrangements. There's one here, there's one up there, of just it looks like crystals that are almost occasionally convulsing and arcing energy out of them. They're pretty low to the ground, and I'm gonna say that you all definitely feel like this place isn't real. You don't feel like you were transported anywhere. You don't know why you know that. But it definitely feels like that you have entered some kind of demi-plane, some kind of like demi-dimension of existence where, this place is kind of very violent and in an arcane way. What you also see as you look around, there are people. They are attached to the walls. Let's get this up there. You all see people in various poses. They look like they are kind of spider webbed to the wall by these lit LED threads of energy that kind of pulse and kind of tie them to the wall. And it looks like this. It is very dark in here, as there's no real light, but wherever these bolts of energy kind of convulse is where you see the cavern kind of glow a little bit. So everyone has access to your character sheets. I am going to apply. Everyone takes 1 point of ambient, negative, arcane, raw, magical power, crackling electricity energy. I promise I won't say that every time.
So he's got a point of damage.
Everyone takes a point of arcane damage.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll just go down the Discord list as far as what everyone wants to do. As you do look around, let's have everybody give me a perception check at disadvantage, as while you're down here, you're trying to look around, but you're like there's energy and electricity dangerously close to everybody every couple seconds.
My passive perception's a 22.
Okay.
You still want me to roll to see if I crit, or?
Well, let's consider that not a disadvantage, so just give me a roll instead of a disadvantage roll.
Alrighty.
Yeah, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
How about Yuno and Koza, their buds?
And for perception.
Okay.
No, not performance.
Well, what is your wisdom? Because I'll keep that
+3.
8. So 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay. Kurvish, you are the only one to see, as you look around the room, some familiar faces hanging and stapled to the wall. Let me just bring this up here.
Welcome to the Well of Souls, gentlemen.
Yeah, you see these two dudes stapled to the wall. It's almost like the stone of the wall themselves is like has like grown around their arms and like wrapped it in these odd kind of unnatural ways. So, now that you're here, this is what you see. What do you do now?
How much resistance do I feel trying to pull either one of them down, unless they're way high up?
They're probably, I don't know, 40, 50 feet up.
Oh, Jesus.
And you notice several of these bolts of crackling energy. Or no, I should say, what you see is each one of these people has a bolt of crackling energy emitting from their chest to the ground that kind of dances and snakes along the ground, almost like it's not anchored anywhere. It's just sort of, flying all over the place. And another thread that leads up into the ceiling from their chest.
Damn.
So their bodies are out there, as I point up towards the arcing streams, and their souls are right here. So we got to figure out how to get these souls back through up there. I'm thinking cutting it here is going to be about as smart as a move as trying to cut it out there.
Yeah.
All right, where's a body that's lowest to the ground? Are there any physically on the ground or up within a person's reach?
No, they're all about 35, 40 feet in the air. Some are much higher, and they all just kind of surround you. And you're noticing, you didn't get a real good look at the people on the ground that were out on that pile of bodies, but you do see one that, because you were kind of you were looking through them, checking them out, making sure they're okay, and you notice a younger woman that was up there is down here.
Mm-hmm.
But no, out of reach, unfortunately, unless you could fly or jump really high.
Funny you should mention that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I just, I look up to the sky where these people are, and just with the steely look of determination, everybody watches as these spectral, frost-covered wings come out of my back.
Ooh, bird or bat?
Dragon.
Bird or bat? Nice.
Bat. Dragon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And I will take flight.
All right. You all watch as Kravish erupts these wings from his back that look sort of similar to that cloak that he purchased, where he can just have wings out that look like, and then they just flop down to as a cloak at will. Look like that, except they've got this coating of frost. Like if you were to stick a steel sword into a freezer overnight and pull it out real fast. This frost just sort of drips down the edges of the wings, but doesn't fully go away. It's almost like it just sort of forms as it drips off. And you take like a squat and just leap into the air, and these things flap down and throw frost at your feet and take you into the air.
All right. So I will go up to one of the townspeople, and I'm going to inspect and look at what's binding them to the wall.
It's like I said, it's almost like there are threads of LEDs, like those, what are they called? Fairy lights you can get at the craft store, wrapped around their arms and torso and legs, as well as the stone behind it looks like it's grown in these thin bands that also kind of wrap around their appendages. And you touch it, and it doesn't feel any different than stone. And your hand kind of passes harmlessly through the threaded light.
And I try to... Can I touch the townsperson? Yeah, are they corporeal?
They are.
They are, okay. So, can I try to find a way to, like, loosen one of their arms out of the lighted bond?
Make a strength check.
A strength check?
Or, yeah, like athletics or something.
With athletics, that'd be a 7.
Yeah. These feel... if they were being arrested, that you'd want them to loosen the cuffs. These are like shrunk wrap onto their arms. Any attempt to wiggle them free, it's almost like they also are kind of like half swallowed into the wall too. They're not like just resting on the edge. And this stone lattice just doesn't give any purchase at all.
Okay, so they're almost like half woven into the rock itself.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say half woven, but yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. I will fly around to some of the others and inspect them to see if they're just as fastly put in.
Okay. Koza, what are you up to?
I am going to... Let's see. So all the bodies are like 50 feet up, right?
Between 30 and 60 feet up, depending on which one it is, yeah.
Okay. Then I am going to polymorph into a little imp.
Okay.
And fly up to Baranor's body and kind of inspect the lattice work or whatever he's trapped in and see if I can pull him free.
Okay. Just go ahead and make a athletics check for an imp.
Okay.
Unless you retain your Fearbolg strength, but I don't think that's
No, I don't think so. I think it's just mental stuff. Hang on. Target assumes hit points with new form.
So imps have a strength of 6, so that's -2 to your roll.
Hey. Oh well.
What does a Koza's imp look like?
I feel like he's got little goat horns.
Okay.
And he's I don't know, a sickly green, but
sure.
All right,
well,
so strength -2. I'll just roll a d20.
Okay.
Damn it. That's a 7.
Okay. Yeah. This little spindly spider monkey with wings and goat horns, with green, sort of like, rotten green fur, muscles up to one of the other prisoners in here, and you see him like really like pulling back hard, his little wings flapping and like moving nothing. Like nothing is moving under him, under his strength. And you just kind of slip away and hover there for a few seconds, and you hear little Koza.
Damn.
Yeah. Here we go. And here we go. If he were green. Let's do this. I'm going to put Koza back on the board, because now he looks like this guy. And you're up there. All right, what is doing in this place?
I'm gonna take a look around and see if I can arcanely deduce if there's a way to actually get all these people moving.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Give me an arcane check, and maybe a check of your choice that you think would help.
So Arcane's going to be 22, and then I'll do like an investigation.
Okay.
And it's going to be a 24.
All right. So as you are just sort of wandering around, you see that there are dozens and dozens of bolts of energy, and some of them flick down and strike you. And as you're kind of contemplating this, I need everybody to take another point of arcane energy, as occasionally these things just snake down and strike you, and it's annoying, painful, but it's not by any means catastrophic. So what you glean from your arcana check is that now that you're kind of in the Fane, you remember the outer shell of this object you grabbed was this beautiful, intricate, elaborate lattice of white stone or metal, not sure what. And there was harmony to it. There was beauty to it, and in its arrangement, in its order. This is whatever this thing is, this Fane. It is a source of raw arcane power, and this is not what you see down here. There is chaos and disorder. There's no rhyme or reason to this place, and you feel that this is the inner mind of the Fane, and something about it is not aligned and needs to be corrected. And you feel that the lit campfire objects on the ground have something to do with it. Every now and then electricity kind of arcs down into it, and it glows bright and shoots off sparks, almost like it's broken. There's the ground is heavily cracked and creviced. There's loose rock on the ground. There's no real rhyme or reason to the pattern of the wall in here. And for something that exists within such a beautifully naturally crafted crystalline, little object, it doesn't appear to be like in its correct state. So that's what you get.
I'm going to share that with Koza and Kravish.
Okay.
All right. So from my bird's eye view, can I get? After hearing that, from my bird's eye view, can I see kind of a pattern or some sort of perspective where I can see things maybe out of alignment or glitching?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, too, I feel like I didn't do it enough justice, that when your wings were formed, they were formed by being struck by the crackling energy around you. And it's almost like your bravado manifests into a physical object on your back as you kind of used this energy to form these wings that took you into flight. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. From your bird's eye view, let's get a perception check from the winged Koza, or winged Kravish, excuse me.
again, 22.
Okay.
But if you want an active...
So, up here, you do... There you go. You do not see a rhyme or reason to anything here. It seems like you could probably fly up forever. I'll say just as a curious thing, you fly up 300 feet. It takes you like a minute and a half to get up there. And you feel like, you can see your party down there, but it's like you fly up and you don't go any higher after a certain point. But you can feel yourself pushing air under your wings, and you look up and you can see all the threads from all the magical threads from the people strung up. They all lead directly up, and they end in a pinpoint of light above you.
Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and power dive back down.
Okay.
Probably get to about that 30, 40 foot range. And I'll call down. It's like, I can't see anything from up here that would, show any kind of pattern or anything that looks awry. It just looks like pure chaos from here.
I'll say this, as you get close to these little campfires, you definitely feel like you're getting the pull that they are the source of the chaos in here. They're almost like, it's like an arcane magical ulcer or, some kind of lesion in on the inner, mind or brain or skull of this Fane. You feel like there's possibility that maybe the Fane has some sort of semi-consciousness to it, but it is like knocked out right now.
Can I kind of like do an Arcana investigation check to see if I can figure out kind of how to maybe cure it or cut it out?
Well, you don't glean anything from just another Arcana investigation. Like, you're looking at them now, and they have a different look to them. Like, their energy that arcs away looks different than the other energy around here. And these definitely feel magical. These little nodes, they're having some kind of effect on this place. The closer you get to it, you actually notice reality around as you kind of look at. I don't know if you want to touch it or anything, but as you get close to it, you notice reality warps, and it's almost like light kind of bends a little bit around them.
I'm gonna try to dispel.
Okay. I'm going to need you to roll. It's not a level 3.
Okay.
And you said it's 10 plus the spell level, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I get to... come on. It would help if I was rolling the right check.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is going to be an 18.
Ooh. 18. Yeah. So as you kind of, wave your hand in a spray to kind of pocket sand the effect of this with your dispel magic, you see the light on the little campfire snuff out. And the only thing you see, and it's almost like it snuffs out into coals, like black coals that spread out with dust. And in its place, all you see is one small hand-sized, like thin crystal, and it's like a deep red. And I'll say that on this lower side of the room, the whole place kind of chills out a little bit, while the other side of the room where the active node is still very violent.
Okay. So I'm going to go over to the other node.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to upcast it, Dispel Magic, at 7th level.
Okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
It drops immediately. No need to roll that. Did you say 7th level?
Yep.
Holy moly! Yeah, you super snuff this thing out. I mean, when it looked like it was putting out a flame before, this is like shooting it with an air cylinder, just like, and the whole thing just goes inert and silent. And in the middle of that is just one little red crystal. The room changes around you. You see the walls start to smooth, and the floor vibrates and crumbles some of these loose rocks into dust that settles in the corners of the room. You see the bolts of energy around you start to kind of organize a little bit and become a little tighter and not so erratic. On its way out, you all take another point of arcane energy as it's kind of a violent change, and you all kind of get shocked by it. And the little red crystals are at your feet. Do you wish to do anything with them?
I'm going to try to grab them with Mage Hand and not my actual hand.
Okay. One at a time, you kind of palm these thin red crystals, and it's like a blood red, like a deep dark blood red, and they're very smooth. They're not faceted. And yeah, you've got these two in your hands, and you all are watch the room transform into, hold on, there we go, that's it out, to this. All right. Like before, you see crackling energy all around you, but it's not as erratic and violent. However, I'm going to say, let me roll a dice here to see who gets hit. 2, that would be you, Kravish. You get hit with, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Real quick. You guys are going to be making a lot of these, so just be on the lookout.
13.
13, yeah. You take 4 points of arcane energy.
Ow.
Yeah, that one hurt a lot more. It seemed a little more focused and a lot more powerful. Kind of like, the difference between getting shot by a shotgun from 30 yards versus 10 yards. Birdshot, that is. Buckshot won't matter. Okay. You also see all of this right here. These are new nodes of energy. They're not as wild or crazy, but they are still arcing with energy. This one doesn't count. This big one doesn't count. And neither does this one. But yeah, every point of light in this room is another node. Sometimes the energy kind of connects a few of them and they glow real bright. So if somebody would like to keep track, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 orange, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow, and 1, 2, 3, 4 green nodes. So
4 orange, 4 yellow, and 4 green. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
That's fine. All right. As this happens, you all hear in your head, chaos order broken.
All right. How do we fix it?
I'm going to say also that you look around as this is happening and you see all the townsfolk and, your friends are still strung up just in slightly different places. And it looks like their bindings are not quite as it doesn't look like stone wrapped around them. It looks like there are straight lines used in the bindings. It's still made of rock, but it looks a little more well-made than just kind of like, slapping clay on something and letting it harden. And you'll also notice, because Karish has crazy freaking passive wisdom, how did that happen? You notice that 2 or 3 of the people, that crackling energy that links them to the ground, and they have a thread that goes up. That crackling energy kind of spurts out, and they are launched upwards like a rubber band being snapped back. So some things happened when the room changed.
Okay. So are these nodes, are they physical? Can they be touched? Can they be moved?
I don't know. How would you know such things?
I tell Koza to go touch one.
Koza, you are still an imp.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You are back to Koza. Let me go through the process of changing your mini again.
Actually,
Give me a second. You can...
Actually, I think I'll stay an imp for the additional health, just in case this goes wrong.
Okay. So you are still an imp.
I am still an imp, and I'm going to touch one of the node.
Okay. With your hand?
Yes.
Okay. You see your vision kind of spark for a little bit, and your hand gets flung backwards because you have a terrible standing strength. And your hand flies backwards, and it feels a little sizzly on your fingertips. And what you didn't see that everybody else did because you got blinded briefly is that which node you touching? Why don't you go to it?
Here, well, just this one. Here, wait, hang on. Let me... Sorry, my mouse is being... This one right here.
Okay. Yeah, it glows bright briefly that everybody else can see. But that's it. You don't take any damage, except everybody makes a dex save real quick. Oops, I did not mean to roll a d6, so don't count that 4.
18.
All right. Koza, what's your dex save? Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you take... you all take 1 point of arcane damage. And those of you who weren't hit by the previous bolt of energy, as Kravish was, it definitely feels more concentrated here. It's still chaotic. It's not like completely cured, but it definitely feels like there are fewer of these bolts of energy, but they are more concentrated. Okay. So that's what happens. You all get hit by these bolts of energy. He touches the node. It glows briefly. Your hand flies back.
Okay, so I'm thinking we got to figure out some way to get one of each color lined up. Either they all need to be grouped as in like all orange, all yellow, or all green, or if we need to get them in one orange, one yellow. You know, either they need to all be of the same color or they all need to be one of each color. Did y'all hear that?
I heard it. You know, what are you doing?
Let's try to pump some magical energy into one of these and just see if that does it.
Okay.
So like a cantrip. I'm just gonna I'm gonna cast light on a rock. I'm going to throw it into this one.
Into that one? Okay. You cast light. You throw it into the rock, and you notice that these nodes are made. It's not like flat crystal. They're made of like jutting shards of glowing rock, and you bounce one onto it. And on this particular one that you throw, the light bounces off of it, but briefly there's a little flame that erupts from the impact site, and that flame kind of flows upward.
I'm going to throw a firebolt at it.
All right. Your firebolt impacts this stone, and the facets and cracks look to kind of shift and align and snap together to form almost like an alien egg shape, and just a small jet, like maybe an inch wide, of flame erupts from this thing and goes straight upwards into infinity. So I will put a little. I'm gonna put a little thingy on each one that you do that to. So talk amongst yourselves while I figure that out. Let me see. Will this work? Will that dull it? I think it probably will, won't it? There. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I think we just repeat it.
Okay. What are you throwing where?
I'm going to go in this direction with another firebolt.
Okay. It ricochets off the jagged rocks and has no effect.
All the dead?
Hold on 1 second. You said Toll the Dead?
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. I'm guessing that you kind of what the hell? Oh, it's the cantrip. Got it. As you cast this, I'm guessing some kind of gothic bell appears above the node, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, you all hear it kind of bong, and this sound that this bell makes, it's way louder than you think it probably should be. In fact, it kind of hurts your ears, but the node is unchanged. So go ahead and make an Arcana check, all of you. I'm guessing the two of you are watching him do this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. You guys are making observations, so let's have a roll from everybody.
26.
25, 26. Oh, dear.
He got it wrong.
Okay. Koza, this makes no sense to you at all. But it is pretty colors, and one of them kind of went out and kind of became inert as it kind of arranged itself. However, Kravish, and especially the one thing that you glean from this is that these four orange nodes, they're all the same color. This one worked with fire. This one worked with an evocation cantrip. This one did not work with a necromancy cantrip. So that's what you got out of that.
All right, so we got to think about some different schools of magic.
And this one currently, this one that you already rendered inert, is currently just firing like a laser beam of fire up into the ceiling above you.
Let me try to cast. I'm going to look. No, it has to be a creature. I can't cast Vicious Mockery. It's just a fireball.
Does it say creature or object? Because I'll give it to you if it says object.
Creature.
Okay.
I can, though. I will go ahead and try to. I will cast Prestidigitation at that top one.
Okay. Hold on.
Just make like a
Which?
smell.
This guy here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Which one did you say you're doing?
Prestidigitation, which is
Prestidigitation. Got it. What would you like? Because that's an effect. What would you like to do to it, or what would you like to do?
To make the faint smell of warm cinnamon.
Okay. Just like surrounding the node.
Just like in that area. Targeting
right.
that area, but just to try.
But you're not near it. So okay, so you see, because oh no, you're not next to it.
Mm-mm.
That's all I'm saying. So you all see Karish twist his hand towards the node, and there's this like puff of brown cloud that just kind of like blinks into existence and then dissipates. There's no change to the node, but you would imagine if you were standing over there, it would smell like cinnamon toast.
Okay. I will try over and do that to the next one.
Okay.
Now I'm going to try Toll the Dead on each of these until I see if it works or not.
Okay, you do it twice and nothing happens each time. Although again, it's that deafening gong, like this place is feeding energy into you and making your spell stronger. But the nodes don't crackle or disintegrate, and neither do they align and settle down. Koza, what you doing as an imp?
What about with prestidigitation with each of those other two?
Let's see here. Yeah. I mean, whatever you choose to do, make it smell pretty. It smells pretty, but the nodes offer no change.
But no effect. Okay.
Yeah.
I will then roll back around. I'll let Koza get his action in.
Okay. Yeah, what's Koza doing?
Here, let me go to... Here we go. Damn it. I was going to cast protection from energy, but this gives me resistance to stuff. Let's see. I'm not burning another 4th level spell slot. What can I do? Can
I will say that as you guys are working this out, you are feeling like these particular nodes responded to a specific school.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then what happens if I cast, I don't know, resistance on it?
Resistance, what does that mean? That feels very vague.
It's a abjuration spell.
Just called resistance?
Yeah, it says...
Okay, it is called resistance. That's stupid.
Yeah.
What a boring name. Okay. No, it doesn't have any obvious effect on that node. Those orange nodes.
What did cast on the orange node? Is that
Firebolt?
Firebolt. Okay. Well then, what do the yellow ones respond to?
I'm gonna try to slap one of the orange ones with Mage Hand, which is conjuration.
Okay. One of the which ones? Hold on, I got 1,000 tabs. Okay, yeah, no effect. It goes right through it harmlessly.
Is it each individual node that responds to a different school, or each color node?
So far, an evocation spell worked on the one that's grayed out. Nothing else worked. He tried to firebolt here. It didn't work. I think he tried to firebolt on all of them. The firebolt did not work. It only worked on this one.
Okay, so they all respond to different spells. Shit. Well,
I will say the firebolt. Hold on. I'll say the firebolt made these flicker, but no other spell made them flicker. It just didn't put them out.
Okay, what happens if I hit mine with frostbite?
Which one is that?
This one right here. Yep.
That, nothing.
Damn it. What about...
That's a yellow one. These are orange, and there are also green ones.
What about gust?
What about Gus?
Gust.
As in gust of wind.
Oh, Gust.
Yeah, I'll throw a guy named Gus at it.
I'm like, are you talking about one of the townspeople? Who are you talking about? Hold on. You mean gust of wind, or just gust?
No, there's a cantrip called Gust.
Which one are you hitting with it? The same one you're next to?
The same one.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just gonna keep throwing spells at it until something works.
That one goes out.
Okay, good.
So let's move you out of the way, and I'll put this guy over this one. I feel like it should be darker, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yep. Good job.
Okay.
One of them's out.
And I'll just move on to the next yellow one.
Okay. What are you doing? Hold on. Let's move it around.
I'm gonna try magic missile.
Okay. There we go. All right. And you're targeting the north one. Okay. As you do that, the rocks twist and clamp together. The light doesn't all the way go out, but it dims, and out of the top of this like rock arrangement erupts these little magic missiles in like a rapid fire succession straight up into the air. That one is solved. And you threw a gust of wind at that node, right, Koza?
Yeah.
Okay, as you did that, the rock face of this node kind of closes like a flower at night, and just a column of air, visible column of air, cartoonly erupts from the top straight up.
Interesting. Is this a fifth element situation?
What it's looking like.
Multipass. Lilu Dallas multipass.
Okay, so Kravish,
Yep.
throw up Spirit Guardians and run around the outside of the perimeter
Okay.
here and see if the Radiant triggers any of these.
All right, so for cheesing my map, you're all going to take a deck save. It just so happened that the bolts of energy decided to discharge at this distinct moment.
Feels fair.
Yeah, damn right.
13.
Come on.
14.
Hey, roll
Okay.
so
6, 14, and 13. All right, you all take 1 point of ambient damage. Jeez, come on, D4. Just throw me a bone here. Make it interesting.
All right, well,
Okay.
I'll do that. I will throw up the footy figures. This is conjuration, in case that matters. So here is my halo. And I will kind of just lazily fly around.
All right. How high are you going? Are you going above everything, or are you just hitting the nodes? Because the nodes are pretty much at ground level. Some of them are on little pedestals of rock. Otherwise, they're kind of
going 10 feet off the ground.
okay. Your spirit guardians sizzle across the rock face, and since you are exposing yourself to more of this room than the rest of the group, I'm going to apply damage, whether you roll for it or not. As you just basically absorb the full brunt, 4 points of arcane energy attack you as you sort of encircle the room. and unfortunately have no effect on the room at all. It's a great idea.
All right. Well, that didn't work.
How long does your wings last?
10 minutes.
Okay, they're coming to an end here soon.
Near to the end, so yeah.
Yeah, you're not quite there yet. Right.
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and take note of that, and I'm going to go ahead and land and have them kind of fold in, and then they just kind of just dissolve in like a little cascade of mild frost.
Cool. You have a shoulder and feet covered in snow. All right, Koza, what are you doing?
I'm going to. I've moved on to a different node, and I'm going to cast Mold Earth on it.
Mold Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because fire's worked, air has worked, might as well go through the roster.
All right. Yeah, that one also works. And in its place, as the rock settles, it shoots a jet of dirt straight up into the air.
I'm noticing a pattern.
That one worked.
In that case, I'm going to move on to this yellow node.
That is green. May not look it, but it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to move on to it anyway.
All right. What do you want to throw on there?
We'll do... Let's see. Let's try a Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame. All right. As you shoot it's kind of like a yellow flame of righteous, radiant energy. That node is still kind of arcing energy around. It doesn't look like it changed its pattern.
Okay.
Water type cantrips.
I've got shape water.
That's probably going to be your next bet. See if you can shape some water.
Yeah. I think. Hang on. Oh, there needs to be water already. Can't just make it. Actually, I can make it. Give me 1 second.
How much water? Just spit.
How
much water do you really need?
I can make up to 10 gallons of water. So I'm gonna burn a first level spell slot and cast Create or Destroy Water, and I'll just make 1 gallon.
Okay.
And then splash it on it.
Uh-huh. On which one? This one?
On
the green one? It has no effect.
Yet. Well, I just burned a spell slot for nothing.
As you're kind of like going through your mental Rolodex, and this is true for Kuravish, do you ever have to prepare spells? I don't think you do, right?
Yes. Well, I pray for my paladin spells.
Uh-huh.
So there's some.
Well, this goes for Yuno. You mentally have access to all of your spells. And here, you don't need components.
Oh, shit.
And the same goes for Koza. It seems like you have access to every druid spell in the book right now, up to your cleric spell, up to your level.
Yay!
And Kuravish, same for you. If there's spells that you need, as long as it's not a monetary value to the component, you don't need that component right now, and you have access to every spell that you are allowed to have if you need to prepare for them. Everyone you know, I guess.
Okay. Are we still limited by our spell slots, though?
Yeah, it seems so. I wouldn't say you're limited by them, but it does seem like every time you cast a leveled spell, your expected arcane energy goes with it.
Okay.
Okay. Koza, you tried that and it failed. What are you doing?
I'm going to try Agonizer's Scorcher on this one.
Okay.
It's evocation, but it's a second level.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it scatters harmlessly off the rock. But you definitely feel the energy sort of suck in and dim for a brief moment, but it grew again.
I'm going to come over to this one, and I am going to cast Acid Splash.
Which one?
That one.
Acid Splash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, as you do so, the rock rotates into like a very meager, rough puzzle kind of arrangement and closes, and a stream of sizzling acid emits from the top and goes all the way into the ceiling forever. This one is inert.
Ooh. It's a creature.
Koza, what would you like to do while he thinks? I think that's kind of how we've been doing this. So just for the record, this one's green. This one's green. This one's green. This one's green. And then these orangey looking ones, those are supposed to be yellow. Okay.
So Sacred Flame did a little something, right?
No, it did nothing.
It did nothing?
I went all the way around with Spirit Guardians, which casts radiant damage, and none of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, what if I hit it with Toll the Dead?
Hold on. Spirit Guardians. Let me look at that again, just to make sure. Yeah, Spirit Guardians did nothing. Yeah. What did you want to do, Koza? And then you know you're up next. On which one?
On this one down here.
Toll the Dead. Let's see here. You're at a green one. It goes out.
Yay!
And the bell that you create. Oh, I'm moving you as one. Hold on. The bell that you create is much louder than you expect. It actually kind of hurts your ears. And from the top of this rock emits just a column. Like if you get close to it, it's like rushing air, but if you get close to it, it sounds like your bell, like all the time, like boom, like resonating. All right. You want to do one more thing real quick? I'll let you guys act more than once on your turn.
I'll go over to this next yellow one. I'm going to pop out of my imp form.
Okay. It's fun while it lasted, huh?
Yeah.
I'll fix that for you while you describe what you want to do.
And then... Let's see. Let's try Poison Spray.
I was actually
which one?
The exact same thing on this one. I was going to cast Poison Spray.
Okay. You both act at the same time. Let me look that up. I'm guessing I know what that is. Okay, so it doesn't turn off the one that you're next to, Koza, unfortunately.
Okay.
However, it does work on Kirbish. Kirbish's little node. Let me just... Oh, man. Copy. Making copies. There we go. Bloop. Okay, as that happens, this whole central room, part of the room, those nodes actually align into a much more geometric, almost trapezoidal, but it's like hovering between trapezoid and square formation, and those nodes start to become like smooth rock, almost spherical, and glow slightly from the middle. You look up and you see several threads of light attached to certain people. Yank them free, and they rocket upwards. All 4 of these nodes, they change their element from what they're shooting out the top. And instead of shooting light up, it brings that energy down, and it kind of warbles and orbits around it, almost like if like a metal sphere was covered in water in space. And I will continue trying to change your little guy. There's Koza. And there's Koza. Boom. Okay, let's do that and pop you out of there. Put you back on the map. All right.
I'm going to use some of the water that Koza used in his create water spell. I am going to do that with use shape water to kind of to allow it to flow onto this one.
Can you indicate again? Okay. Shape water, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the green nodes, I believe. Yep. It has no effect. It's just covered in water now.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Ray of Frost.
All right. That is... yeah, that doesn't really work either. Sorry.
Okay.
You know, what are you doing at this moment? You're surrounded by sort of inert nodes in the middle.
This is a green one, correct?
It is.
I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness on it.
Yeah.
Necromancy.
You kind of...
level.
Yep. Yeah, that works. Let me just cover it up. And as you do that, that node changes into kind of a almost a rounder shape and rockets up this sickly slime that looks like it probably stinks all the way to the ceiling.
And I'm going to move over here. This is also a green one. Correct?
Yep.
I'm going to cast Blight.
Okay, yeah. The energy of the room would suggest that you're figuring it out, as it also... oh, come on. All right. It was working for me for a second. It also gets very dark, spherical, and shoots these black veins of crackling energy up into the ceiling. Coming around to Ravish, you stop and see, having a 2 in a row success. Yeah. It's almost like he's got it figured out.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come up to this node and I'm going to cast Chill Touch.
All right. That is a green one, and its rock is covered in frost. It absorbs it. It doesn't melt it and just evaporate it, almost like it sucks it into it. And as the stone turns into a vaguely egg shape, it rockets a ray of frost directly above. That one is inert. And let's see here. With that, all of the green nodes, you see them kind of like sink into the ground and shed, and like with a shimmering movement, everything that's not a sphere, and it starts to kind of pull that energy back into itself and surround it in orbit, while the rest of these nodes are still quite active.
I'm going to yell to the group, transmutation for the yellow.
Okay.
And then Yuno's going to go, I don't really have much transmutation because I'm not a transmutation wizard. So somebody else.
I do.
All right. You're standing next to an active node. What are you doing?
I'm going to go over to this one and cast Druid Craft.
I'm gonna cast Thorn Whip.
That feels wrong. That's funny, but it works.
I'm gonna cast Thorn Whip.
Okay. So your nodes kind of give off the same energy upwards as it fires these spindly twigs and vines. The only difference is the one that Kervish makes has little flowers on it. It's real pretty. And the one that Koza makes has giant thorns all over it. It looks ugly and nasty, like an assassin vine. And oh, by the way, when the green ones turned into spheres, that you saw a few more of your Cobb citizens be freed and rocket upwards. Seems like every time a milestone is made here, it's freeing some of these people. There's one more up here, folks. Who wants to take it?
Which one?
There is one more up here. Everything else is done, I think. Because this one doesn't count. This is just a harmless point of light, and so are these big giant ones.
Is this one a yellow one?
Yep. No, that's a yellow one.
Okay, and so I will cast Druid Craft again.
All right. That does not work.
I will cast Chill Touch.
Chill Touch. Let's see. When you used Ray, where did you use Ray of Frost? I think you used it like down here or something, or one of these guys.
It didn't work.
Okay. Yeah, Ray of Chill Touch here does work. It turns it off. You see it kind of like the one that you used Ray of Frost with. It kind of shoots up these icicles that kind of shoot in a line, single file, like a machine fire, rapid fire above you. And as that happens, you see several more of the citizens, people of Cobb, are released. And you notice that one of them is right next to Axton. And as this last node is changed into a sphere of glowing frost energy, the room again rotates. These nodes rotate with it. The stone on the ground starts to rumble under your feet until the shivering effect sheds the spare sand away until there's nothing but smooth floors at your feet. You're noticing stone artwork in very strange and almost impossible geometric shapes. And those spheres rotate. Some of them join and become larger, more vibrant, until the room looks like this.
Yay, go.
So you notice on your way out, you're all going to take another deck save as this room kind of explodes with a little bit more order to it. All right. Kervish, you take 2. No, Koza, you take 4. And you take 2 points of arcane damage. As you all find yourselves thrusted downward onto the ground, you stand up and you see a little more organization in the arrangement of these nodes. You look up, and you see the people of Cobb and your friends, Baranor and Axton. They're now chained to the wall. There's no stone holding them in place. The chain crackles with electrical energy. There is a central node now that is pulsing with blue light, and it seems like many of these nodes have little veiny, crackling electricity racing across the ground towards it. In your heads, you all hear a booming voice again. Must restore order. It seems that you've kind of awakened and upgraded a consciousness. The Fane. It is broken. You are healing it. You are healing me. Please align the orbs. create balance, restore order. And with that, we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
All right, as you guys sort of survey the battlefield, we will be back here we'll make it a short one. We'll be back here at 5:30.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, guys. I'm glad you guys are getting there. I didn't want to make it too crazy, but I was definitely serious when I meant put on your smarty cap. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
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 Are we all back?
Yep.
I believe.
All right. Cool. So, you all find yourselves in this similar cave dwelling, but with a little more organization and, a little more order to it. So, starting from the top, Kravish, what would you like to do in this room?
All right. Go over and inspect these orbs. Are these, again, are they physical? Are they able to be moved? Are they pretty much static?
Well, let me get the gray spheres out of the way here, because that's just going to confuse everything. Okay, they are floating about a foot off the ground, tethered to a wisp of smoke underneath them. Do with that info what you will. One more here. Okay.
So I will try.
They are physical. Do you wish to touch them?
Yes. We're gonna reach
Okay.
out.
It looks like you can move them with your hand. They don't feel heavy. They move rather easily, although, just to like a 5-second experimentation, you can't launch them across the room. It looks like they move at a pretty even pace. And after about 3 or 4 feet of not touching them, they stop moving.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and come around to this blue one right here.
Okay.
And I want to see if I can physically move it to be in alignment with this blue one here.
All right. As you do, you notice the pink orb at the end of the line of this moves with it, kind of lazily.
Okay.
But as you move it over here, it crosses the stream of the crackling energy here. Doesn't seem to change what's going on with this guy.
Okay. Well, I'll walk it back into place then.
Okay.
How about moving this pink one,
Uh-huh.
moving it over this way to right here?
Again, doesn't seem to have an effect.
How about moving this
And
one?
as you do that, it tugs on this one.
Okay. How about moving this one down to around where Koza is? Moving this one down to about here.
As it does that, this guy right here stops, and I didn't have the ability to pick and choose these and move them around. I wish I did. I ran out of time. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Sue me.
Yeah.
We'll do this. You get it to here, and hold on. It needs to be solid. Hold on. Oh, Koza, move out of the way. Okay. I'll put you back, Koza. Don't worry. Okay. The pink one lands right here and instantly starts wiggling. It's connected by this bolt of energy to the blue one, and it looks like it's being attracted to this. We'll dot that out. It's being attracted to this brazier of magical energy. Looks like it's tugging towards it.
So I'll go ahead and push it closer to the to that orb of energy in the west.
Well, it gets about 5 feet away, and it gets to where you can't really hold it. So it acts of its own free will and makes its way in, and you see it kind of seat in the brazier and lock. It kind of like lowers, and the whole orb is now glowing pink, really, really brightly, with a bolt of energy still connecting. Okay, go away. Still connecting this guy. That's not what I wanted it to do.
But it makes the point.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what it's doing.
Okay. So I'll call out to Koza or Yuno. See if you can move any of those other orbs back into the sockets.
I'm gonna
In that case,
this one and just try to move it.
Okay. Just like the others, I'm just going to gray out the ones you move because it seems that's probably easier than imagining they're gone. And then I'll put this here. This is no longer in its place. It is, you pull this one over in this direction. It fits into the brazier, just like before. So I will it's got like a purple hue to it. Right there. And it also locks into place, and there's this really resonant purple glow on this orb. So, and it also drags this one along with it, but it doesn't enter. We could say that maybe this one is the pink one. There we go. That's what it looks like now. Does that make sense? Koza, what do you got?
I am going to move this one over to here.
You notice that this one is there's already an object slotted into it, and it's orange. It was tricky. The one that you are holding, doesn't look like it wants to budge. There's a lot of ambient energy, and as you try to push on it, it's going to erupt with a wave of crackling arcane energy, and it's going to fire at all three of you very specifically with this blue energy. I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Hell.
Oh boy.
7 for Koza, 19 for Yuno. Pretty good.
16 for me.
This one is exponentially more powerful and burns through you to the point where you can feel your arcane essence being drained by this bolt. You all take. Let's see. Yuno's good. Kravish, not enough. You take 5. And Yuno takes 2 of arcane energy damage.
Wait a minute. I took more than Koza did?
No.
Okay.
No. You took the same amount as Koza did.
Okay, 5.
Yuno's the one who passed.
Okay.
All right, Koza, you want to try something else?
I don't know. None of the other orbs moved when I moved that blue one?
No.
What happens if I push it more towards the middle?
I need you to make a strength saving throw because it is really faceted in there. Not a saving throw, a strength check like our acrobatics or not acrobatics. The brain athletics.
Okay.
Or
Why did it roll twice?
Or I will say this. You bet because physical labor is an act of force. Maybe force would work. Some kind of force spell.
Yeah. Except I don't know that I have anything like that.
What does your Furbolg abilities do for something like a athletics check?
It just makes it so that I count as large when I'm pushing and dragging stuff.
Yeah, all right. What does that mean?
Not sure. Let me see. Yeah, it just says that I count as one size larger when I'm determining my carrying capacity and what I can push, drag, or lift.
Okay.
So I can push, drag, and lift anything that a large creature can.
So what does that mean?
I don't. That's all it says.
Well, what can a large creature move? Let's look it up.
That sounds like a question for Google.
Okay. Basic formula for push, drag, and lift weight is strength score times 30, 2 per size larger than medium. I don't know what that means.
You can just push or pull a heavier weight.
Okay. So, no, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't shift for you. So, as you push it again, I need everybody to make another con save as another bolt of energy erupts, striking all three of you.
All right. Koza?
Yes?
Your fucking hands off that ball.
20 from Kravish, 23 from Yuno, and a 10 from Koza. Koza, you take 9 points of arcane energy. Everyone else takes 4.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Let's try a change of plans, because if we get hit again, I'm going to shoot you myself.
What do you make of all this?
I think that we should try pushing this.
Yeah, that's what I'll go ahead and start doing that.
Okay. So this is like a red sphere. You pull it, it moves freely into this position. Let me place one there. It's a nice, bright, pretty red. Oops. It turned very tiny. No, I'm just kidding. There we go. And we'll say that the position that the pink one is in is the new position of the blue one. So let's just put this here. Okay. As you do that, it looks like a couple more. Every time one of these fonts gets filled with a sphere and it locks into place and starts glowing brightly, you look up and you see another couple of the civilians getting released from their prison. It's almost like you can hear a "thank you."
It's not
so
after blue, right?
That is correct.
All the pink have been slotted.
That is correct.
Okay. So I'm going to try to move this blue one.
Okay. I need you to give me a strength saving throw. Are you just doing it with your hands?
Yep.
Yeah, these are... it seems like the tether, the electrical tether between the ones on the end and the middle ones is real strong, and it's almost like you're trying to pull against a giant rubber strap, and it's just giving some resistance, so...
18?
18. All right, yeah, you pop it out and move it, and as you pull it, you all can see struggling physically to move this. Do any of you wish to aid him?
Yeah, I'll come over and start pushing.
Yeah, with a little help, the blue orb traverses, and you guys can feel this crackling energy as you move it. The closer you get it to the center, you start to see that it's actually a swirling inside of a glass dome or a glass orb, a swirling blue planet-like object. And as you get it closer, you notice that it's interspersed with dark and light patches of blue. that are swirling really, really fast. As you get closer, it starts to slow down, and you notice that there are actually pockets of, where it's almost like there's an ice cream scoop taken out of the side of this thing, and it almost like it cocks and shifts and aligns to where there's an opening now, shaking but facing the direction of the orb that you have, and you push it into place. You both take an ambient 2 points of crackling arcane energy. Is just holding this thing, is releasing this arcane these flashes that kind of hurt as you grip them, but you manage to slot it. It locks into place, and everywhere where there's like a vein of energy, it just arcs with energy upwards, and you feel everything start to slide, and you hear almost clockwork, and you can hear that voice again say, "Yes, you know what to do now. Complete the puzzle. Realign my consciousness." And we'll put one of these guys right on top, right? Let's group these two so it's a little darker. Okay, bam. So there's nothing there. It's actually sitting right there now. Okay. What's next? That was Yuna's go. How about Kravish?
I'll try to see if I can take this blue one.
Yep.
Here and push it into the center.
All right. I'm going to need a strength check. It's real tough. It's stuck in there.
Nat 20 for 24 athletics.
All right. No help required. Yeah, you slot it in there. We'll blue this out, gray this out, and just like before, you look and you can see that while the blue orb on the opposite side of this thing is in place, the inner swirling mass is still turning. It's almost like it's in a state of flux, like it's moving, but it's not moving. And as you push this thing just against the resistance of that bolt of energy, you see it's almost like you're pulling that ribbon straight into a straight line. You'll notice too that up here, it's not a crackling beam of energy. It is, and I can draw that because I'm cool like that, a straight line. Straight-ish. So I will get rid of this thing, because as you push it in, it grabs, like you see like claws of arcane energy grab hold of the orb as you push it forward. You are going to take another 2 points of crackling arcane energy, Kravish, but you manage to straighten this one out. So it's now a straight line to this. Oh God, that was terrible. A straight line.
Okay.
To right there. Okay.
All right, guys. You know what to do.
Yeah. Going for that one. All right.
Yep.
Are you taking this one too? Seeing if you can tank it again?
Yeah.
All right. Give me that athletics check.
Not so good this time.
6. All right. Con save for everybody.
Oh, God.
Budge. As it doesn't budge like the last one did, and really kind of instead of that vibration feeling, it just detonates and you're knocked back a couple feet. So everybody takes 7 points of arcane damage.
Oh, jeez.
Feel free to try again.
Try to help Kravish.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a strength check at advantage. And that goes for whoever's stronger.
Yeah, Kravish, you're gonna want to make that strength save.
Squishy wizard, no one push.
There we go. 23.
23, yeah. The two of you team up again, pushing it closer to the edge. It does break free from its binds, and as you push it closer and closer to the center, you see again another pocket forming in there, and you push it right into there, and it slots into place, and everything starts glowing, and you can see the orbs that are in their slots starting to rotate, and the energy is starting to ripple along the ribbon with little glyphs. Almost like the chaos here is being brought to some semblance of order, and that one is definitely good to go. Let me black this one out. Oh, no. I grouped too many. There we go. Okay. Yep. What's next? Take it away, anybody. Cozy, you're next to one that really didn't want to move for you at all.
Yeah.
This one's just a little more. This one definitely seems a little more volatile and a little more cantankerous and grumpy. There we go.
Well, let's see.
I'm gonna cast a 3rd level healing word on myself.
Okay. It has an effect. You feel relieved that it works.
Mm-hmm. I needed every bit of that.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
did I get the feeling that it just was stubborn, or that something else was required to move it?
It doesn't look like any of that ribbon energy is like wrapped around it, giving it any kind of like real physical tethering. You see underneath it, there's all these little tendrils of yellow light. It seems like it's kind of holding it in place, but as you moved it, you were able, like, some of them broke as it traveled in one direction. The little tendrils on the opposite direction like kind of snap. So it's almost like it's sticky and it's stuck to the ground.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to cast Enlarge and Reduce on myself to make myself bigger and therefore stronger.
Ooh, stronger. Let me make you bigger. Are you being large now?
I think that's all I can do.
Cool. He's large.
It makes me large.
All right, from now on until you reduce, I want you to speak in like a lowered pitch accent.
Hello
Yes.
there.
Which way should I move the orb?
Move it towards the center, big fella. Even bigger fella.
All right, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Make us an athletics check.
Okay.
We'll say that the DC will be different because you're big.
Okay. You said athletics?
Yeah. You're pushing it.
Okay, that's not bad.
So as Big Koza, you're kind of like, almost like the way somebody would underhand a bowling ball through the middle of their legs. You're just kind of like, kind of shoving this thing along, and it breaks free of its little tendril bindings much, much easier as you move the orb forward. Let me do this. And you move it into the center of the room where the last slot is waiting, and it's almost in anticipation. These tendrils, these blue tendrils from the central orb, reach out, and there we go. Reach out and grasp it and envelop it like ferric putty. When you put a magnet in it, just kind of swallows this orb, and the whole room starts to break down and shift. And you see any little bits of dust that were on the ground get scattered to the edges of the room. You see panels in straight lines on the floor raise about a half an inch, and then like geometrically shift the whole room until you see yourselves here. Now let me change this up. Let's do.
How many dimensions deep are we in now?
Hey,
Let's see here.
Merry Christmas.
It's much calmer in here. Let's do... Give me a second. I gotta change the ambiance. It's not quite so nuts in this place. Okay. All right. This room is much more peaceful. Let me get rid of all the lines and orbs and crap. Give me a little bit of time to clean this place up. Oh, I just deleted Koza. Koza, you're dead. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. All right. Let me put you back on the map. Sorry about that, bud. And then you're big. You're Betty big. Okay. What you see in this room are chiseled walls of stone in ancient styles, but definitely more refined than a rough cave. There are braziers covering each and every square inch of a couple of these walls, and there are these large pink and yellow and blue fonts of arcane energy that dot the room. Much, much more order here, more orderly. The arrangement is kind of a mandala effect, and it seems that the more complicated and civilized and sophisticated the arrangement of these chambers, the more complex the need to solve them becomes. You remember that just dispelling magic worked on the first layer. Different spells from different schools applied, that arcane energy applied to the fonts worked on the second stage. Third stage was a little more mechanical and less arcane, but it definitely caused you to think in terms of, I can't just point and shoot a spell at it and it'll work. So you get the feeling like this place might be a step up more complicated. And I forgot to mention, I'm very sorry. Every single time you put out one of those orbs or something, it emitted a red crystal on the ground where it lie. So at this moment, you should have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should have 6 red crystals that you can collect. And if you didn't pick them up a minute ago, you can just imagine that they kind of like rotated with the room and they're all over the place on the room. They're easy to find. So what do we do in this room? You see a different colored orb on the north, east, west, and south of this central dais. And in the middle, all you see is an empty glass sphere, maybe 4 feet wide, on kind of a pyramid-like dais.
Do either of these rotate? Does either this inner ring or somewhere here along the outer ring, is there any movement to any of that?
Not something that, unless you wanted to really wrench and put your back into it, nothing seems to glide or click along or track or anything like that.
Okay.
It seems kind of solid.
These smaller orbs, can we pick them up?
They don't seem to release from whatever base they're in.
Okay. Going over to the outer area here, are any of these movable? Or are these two?
Nope. It seems like pretty much everything is, and your wings have disappeared, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it seems like everything is pretty much held in place. You would have to really try to force them out.
Okay.
And it should be noted that these things, they all kind of look the same, right? They are all what look like clear pink crystals laid in an arrangement almost like firewood, like in a sort of a pyramid or a cone, upside down cone shape.
One of those red crystals.
They are.
I'll ask for one of those.
Crystals that are red.
Yes. What about if I put one right over here?
I didn't see it. Where did you do that?
Southwest corner.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, there we go. Now I see it. What are you doing with it? You're just laying it down?
I'm trying to see, is there any place that like it can slot in?
Make an investigation check.
18.
18, yeah. You don't see an empty slot for something of this size, no.
Okay. And will these things that are on top of these daises, do they rotate? Is there some movement to them?
No, not really. They all seem kind of inert.
All right.
Why don't you give me an Arcana check?
23.
23. As you're kind of watching Kervish and Koza kind of like grunt and push against things, you're trying to come at this from a magic stance. These nodes that you've been interacting with, they are for the most part they are they respond to infusions of magic. So you get the feeling that whatever these things are, they're empty. They definitely look like something that they're supposed to be powered or something. That's really what you get from kind of studying. Like, it looks like they all face the center dais, and you're not exactly sure how to fill them, but something it's almost like the central area draws power from in the external areas.
Fuck spells at them.
Fuck spells at what?
I'm gonna chuck a firebolt at this.
Yeah. Well, as you do that, it definitely lights up with fire. The fire kind of fills each of these crystal logs, as you could say, with white, almost like a white hot and then yellow on the edges energy, and it fills it up, and a flame sprouts from this crystal pyre or crystal bonfire. And as you do it, it rotates 180 degrees and fires a beam of pink energy at this crystal sphere, which then glows blue.
I'm sorry, I drifted off the Neptune. What is now starting to glow blue?
Okay, so he filled this with a firebolt.
Uh-huh.
It caught fire, and it rotated 180 degrees, fired a beam of energy, of pink energy, into this orb, which then started to glow blue.
I'll come over here, and I'm going to go over to this one, and I will cast Ray of Frost.
Okay. Nothing happens. And you all hear in your ear, "The solution grows complicated here. The arrangement of the nodes is as intricate as their solution. You must go higher. You must reach higher for more power before the rest of the locks are disengaged. You are nearing the end. I can think more clearly now. For every lock that is disengaged, the next lock will be more difficult." And then it trails off. Seems like this consciousness that you've awoken is becoming a little more aware, and its cognitive abilities are able to help you with a little more direct advice.
What's this piece right over here? Let me go over and inspect this.
That is identical to the ones that are over here. And it's just a brazier with tiny little sticks of clear crystal in like a campfire arrangement, although it's much more like, you know how you ever seen Tron Legacy, how like it shows like a bus stop, but it's like digitized and like the lines are straight and all the angles are perfect. Like that's what this material is. It's made of crystal. It looks like it's imitating firewood, but the geometric fractalization of the crystal is very perfect.
Okay. Let me try to cast Ray of Frost on this one.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah, nothing happens. But you see the crystal like logs briefly glow white and then go out. It's almost like it wasn't enough energy to activate it.
Alright. Well, let's see. Well, I'm like painfully low on slots, and so the only thing I really got that can cast any kind of elemental damage are cantrips.
Well, as you kind of dip into the well of your magical energy, you realize that you all who use spells, as this room became more complicated and powerful, you were rejuvenated. So I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to roll a d6, and that's how many spell slots you got back. That's how many spell level slots, I guess.
Yay!
All right. Kervish, you got a second level or two first levels? And how about, what'd you get?
I got a 4.
All right. You have a fourth level, a third and a 1. You know the math, how you want to work that out.
Okay. I'm gonna chuck a fireball at this one.
Okay. Alrighty. Fireball. Okay. I'm sorry, but nothing happens. And in your ear, in your brain, you hear that same voice. Easy. Do this logically, wizard. No one starts at the bottom and then immediately climbs to the third position. You must use order. You must use your intelligence. Do not be random. Such is the way of the arcane.
I'm going to cast a magic missile at this one.
Magic missile. That's instant damage. Go ahead and roll damage.
For magic missile, let's see.
Let me find a thingy. I was going to have you fight stuff. I think that's a mistake. I think that would... So I'm going to use a asset. All right, this one is glowing. There we go. Magic missile.
10 points.
All right, you do not destroy it. Oh. However, this one lights up. Right? Is that the one you were going for?
That is correct.
Okay. You can now feel a thrumming, humming energy resonating through the chamber here. This one fires a beam of white energy. And hold on. This one is doing this. Okay, this one is doing this. Straight at this central orb. The central orb has now a dull white glow to it. Very, very dull.
There you go. I'm going to try the same thing with this one here.
What are you doing?
Magic missile. To the one in the southeast corner.
It has no effect. The missiles bounce harmlessly off of it.
Okie doke.
Koza, what you got? You're kind of watching all of these pieces fall into place.
Yeah.
And I should say, I need to keep up with this. Sorry. As soon as these things start glowing the way they are, they're on fire. They spit out a little red crystal.
I'm gonna walk over to this one And let's see. A magic missile worked on this one. And what did cast on the other one?
Just a firebolt. Or no. He casted a fireball, didn't he? He tried that and it didn't work. Up here he did a firebolt.
You tried fireball with this one.
Okay, so...
Yeah, it didn't work.
Let's see. Let's try frostbite on this one.
All right, hold on. Yeah, it you cover it in a quickly melting sheen of frost that quickly evaporates and has no effect.
Well, what about Sacred Flame?
Sacred Flame. Oops, not Scared Flame. That'd be funny. It just harmlessly shoots that white-yellow flame on this little arrangement of crystals, and it doesn't do anything. Well, what do you got?
I'm gonna cast Agonizer's Scorcher, which is
Agonizer Scorchers.
at this one.
Okay. Like a really powerful orange flame beam erupts from your hand, and you notice that this time this little fireplace, this brazier, flares up. It shoots a beam of energy into the small little cauldron in front of it, and it looks like it gets ready to accept some kind of magical energy as it like these flaps unfold and push the brazier up, and the bottom looks like there's almost like a pilot light of arcane energy underneath it.
And I'm going to again try poison spray on this one here.
Poison spray. Poison spray. Yeah. You and Koza are tag teaming this thing, and nothing you're doing is making any difference. Aside from spraying a little bit of poison into Koza's splashes on his greaves.
I'm going to come up close to it, and I am going to cast Burning Hands. Try to maneuver myself so Koza doesn't get orange, but I'm going to cast Burning Hands.
Yeah. Doesn't work either.
Okay.
It does kind of make it glow a little bit, but it looks like it doesn't even really fill it with hardly any magical energy at all.
I'm going to chuck a Melf's Acid Arrow.
Okay. Melf's Acid Arrow. Yeah, that has no effect either. Although, as you chuck this acid arrow, you notice that it almost like the acid creeps up the logs of this little brazier, but then they fall and dissipate harmlessly. Looked like it filled it up a little bit, just not quite enough.
Yeah, I don't have the juice to fill this one, so it's going to have to
move out of the way.
Boom.
He stomps with ferocity.
I'm going to shoot a lightning bolt at this one.
All right.
It'll be like that part in WALL-E when he gets supercharged.
Yeah. You rocket this lightning bolt across the room. Slight bit of frustration, and it fills this brazier with crackling bolts of blue energy, and you see it light up and shoot a blue beam of energy, of electrical energy, straight at the central. Oops, that looks like shit. Is there not a line tool pen line. Here we go. Is this what I want? Hey, there we go. Cool. Okay. And the central orb now has 2 beams of energy feeding it, and it's filled up just a little bit more. Now what do you want to do?
Yeah, this looks like these are skills beyond my pay grade.
I'm gonna cast Blight on this one.
It sucks when I make you use your spell slots. Right. Okay. Yeah, you snake your hand into the air, and the energy that it emits is likewise as slimy and snaky as it kind of careens through the air at odd directions, impacts with this brazier and lights it up black, with little veins of tendrils kind of waving around. This one is activated. As it does so, it lights. Oops. Why did it do that? A big giant triangle forms out of nowhere. No, a beam of black energy rockets forward into this brazier, which then lights up orange. As that one lights up orange, it fires a beam of orange energy towards this central orb, which then glows blue. Wish I could just draw directly on this thing with a pen or something. I don't have one of those things, but it's going to glow pretty. Oh, sorry. I meant to say that this one over here also fires an orange beam towards the center, but I didn't say that. Come on. My computer just froze. Here we go. Orange energy. And that turned orange as well. No. Sorry, this is kind of new at this. At least interacting with the damn thing. And that's going to turn blue. Okay. Blue, blue. All right. That is the state of things. And every time that this happens, so now at this point you should have 5 red crystals, because each one of these bigger braziers burped up a little red crystal. So that's 15 in total, I believe. You got 10 from the previous levels. What do you wish to do now?
I asked for those crystals. I come back down to this brazier here. And I just put one in.
Okay.
And then give it
Hold on,
time and then put another one in.
The crystals do not interact with anything in here.
But no?
Nope. But the center of the room looks like it's becoming a lot more active. There's now sparkles in the central sphere. A little more light. And these outer balls of just kind of like, pink gemstone, not glowing at all. As well as this little brazier is inert. So are these 2. But they look smaller than the big ones, I'll say that.
As I'm
not gonna make you
closer here, are there any areas where the crystals could sit in, like any areas to refract the light?
No, you don't see any little spots for them.
And then up along in here, there doesn't seem to be any notch or groove to maybe
Well, how high are you going? You can try to climb and see if there's spots way up here where the architecture gets a little complicated, but nothing on ground level. Yeah, no, nothing on ground level appears to accept these pickle spear shaped crystals, we'll say.
Okay. So we've got the 5 main, the 5 little purple dome things firing in here. Around these 3 smaller spheres, is there anywhere that I could refract a beam.
Refract a beam. What do you mean by that? That sounds interesting.
Meaning by, is there any way that I can can I get a beam to refract, but say maybe come over to this gem here?
I don't know. What do you want to?
The sphere,
It sounds cool. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I'm just trying.
Unless you try something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's some way that I could get one of these crystals that we have all along here.
Well, I'll tell you this. No one has tried to interact with any of these smaller braziers yet.
Yeah, you did. I told you I tried to put some of those red crystals in.
Okay. Aside from that, magically, nobody has interacted with them. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, then I will come over here and I will cast, I'll have access to paladin cantrips too. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame right here.
Oh boy, Sacred Flame works. It gets lit up with white yellow flame, this little campfire here. Let's put a little guy right there. Nope, that didn't work. There we go. It fires a yellowish beam of light towards the pink crystal, which turns blue. Let me get to work on that. Like a white yellow. There we go. This guy turns blue. All right. Ellipse. Blue. And blue. And at this moment, all four of these blue spheres fire little blue beams towards the center, which greatly illuminates it, almost to the point of it activating, but not quite enough. Why? Okay, that didn't work. I'll just do this because it's closer. All right. What are we doing now, folks? It's definitely having an effect.
Okay. Well, I will duck and weave up from the brazier up to this way.
Uh-huh.
And I will again see if I can. I don't know if it's anything elemental or if it's going to have to be something radiant. You guys are more than welcome to jump in.
Yeah, Koza, what are you guys up to? As he just made one of them work.
I made all the other damn ones work.
That's right, there is no we in team.
There are.
Okay.
I'll say this.
Aren't there about 5 eyes though? And I don't care how big the room is, I cast Fireball.
Yeah. I'll say that you notice, that arcane energy, like Smarty Pants wizard stuff, worked on these big ones, and a type of spell with radiant energy that's not arcane, that's divine. So it seems like non-arcane worked on this one, and these two look very similar.
Well, then in that case, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame on this one. See what happens.
All right. Sacred Flame.
Also, where's my
did I get rid of it again? I did.
It disappeared.
I was messing around with some triangle, and you were a sacrificial lamb.
You got caught in the crossfire.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Sacrifice!
All right, there you go. Big Koza.
How long does Enlarge Reduce last?
It's a good question. Sacred Flame does not work, although it does look like...
So I'm small.
Yeah, you're back. You're reduced. Sacred Flame does not work. However, it does look like it slightly filled up the font briefly. So, looked like you had the right idea, just maybe the wrong spell.
Well, I've got other radiant spells. Let's see. What is this? Let's try Guiding Bolt.
I'm going to upcast Spirit Guardians.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians at 4th level. So I have my Fleety Fairies up.
Yep. Don't seem to have an effect, though.
Okay. Let me walk
And
this one over to this one.
Okay. Yeah, still no effect.
Oh, fudge nuggets. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, can you try like a necromantic spell?
I'll try Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead does nothing. In your head, you hear, "It is important that the studied arcane exists in harmony with the wild arcane. Do not think the schools will aid you every time. Magic is plentiful and diverse. Use this diversity and solve the riddle."
Use fucking tree magic, druid.
Element interpretation.
What's a real druidy spell? Come on. I have something in here. Fuck it. Is Druidcraft gonna work?
I don't know. That sounds like a question for a decision.
It's the most druidy spell I have, so let's try it.
Okay.
I will.
You extend.
I'll kind of wrap it with like vines. See if that does something.
All right. The vines kind of coil in and out of the spaces of this pyramid of crystals that you've approached until the crystals glow green and sprout flowers all over it. That is a success.
Yay!
It fires a green beam into the center of the room. Where the rest of my little beams go? They got rid of all of them for some reason. All right, what the hell? They're all blue now. Oh, that's why. This should be 0. There we go. All right, that one goes. This one goes. All right, this inner sphere is now spinning, and but it looks like it's just a bit too dim. As the brazier in front of or in front of Kravish is the last one to be inert.
I will go ahead and cast, since I have full access to everything, I'm going to cast Fount of Moonlight.
Wow.
Whoa.
Font of Moonlight. I gotta read that. That sounds awesome. All right, you know what? I'm feeling generous. It takes it. It just rockets out with this. It kind of reverberates whatever you were trying to do. What does it do?
Paste it.
Yeah, I'm reading it. So this is on you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is on you?
It emits light, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. I'm going to say a self-spell doesn't do anything. You are now emitting light, though. Let's give you an aura.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Because I'm evil.
Mm-hmm.
20 feet? Oh, wow. Pretty moonlight. There we go. All right. Anybody else? Got one more to fill up here. I'll just go ahead and say that it seems like a wizard's spells don't work on these.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Although you did notice that you were able to light this one and this one in no particular order of levels, and no specific level looked like it was necessary.
I'll cast
What if I just cast light on the last one?
Light. Okay, what if? I'm not going to tell you what if. That sounds...
That's me saying I cast light on it.
DM, will you predict the future for me?
That's me saying
Okay.
I cast light on it.
All right, you cast light, and it lights up and shoots a blue beam of energy
Praise be to the Lord, hallelujah.
Yay.
straight towards the center of the room. This thing starts to go crazy and throws all kinds of bolts of little blue energy in the room, and you can see there's mist in the room. That mist grows and thickens and turns into clouds. The room starts to break down and shift, and you can see polished metal where the fonts used to be. I'm going to have to delete a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to do that right now. And nobody's down here. I just killed Uno. Sorry, Uno. Don't worry, I put you back. The room spins and whirls, and you can feel cool air on your faces as you open your eyes and find yourselves in a serene and polished celestial-like space. What you see is this.
Whoa.
The ground is covered in lattice of gold geometric mandala designs. There are 8 pearls, large pearls the size of pumpkins, embedded in the ground. In each of these pearls, you see thin slots.
Now, finally, I'm going to see if I can fit one of those red damn crystals in there.
Yeah.
The red crystals fit perfectly in all of these pearls until each of the pearls, because you got quite a bit from the last map. I'm not going to make you figure out how many you had. You had enough to where each of the pearls have a red letter or glyph. You're not exactly sure what it means, but they all have different slots that are in different arrangements, and it looks like they're in some language that you don't understand. You know, you've seen these glyph signatures in some of your more ancient tomes of magic that you've read, and you all feel this presence amongst you that you didn't really feel before, like someone's in the room with you. And once you finally complete it, all of the pearls glow, and a large column of light emits from each of them upwards, and they rotate towards the center dais, and all of the beams of light cross with each other and make a bright spot right here, where then you can see a figure. It is a humanoid man with a long braided chin beard. He is dressed in some of the most elaborate robes you've ever seen in your life. He carries a tall, white, twisted metal or wood, not sure, staff tipped with a sapphire that changes color depending on where you are around it. He opens his all-white eyes that are glowing, and he regards all of you. Oh, you have repaired the Fane. What ties me to this world and all worlds? I thank you, adventurers. You have done something no mortal has ever done. The Fane was destroyed. It was consumed by the other. He has been doing this, seeking Fanes to fill his power. Once they are all destroyed, he will cross this world and consume it as he consumes all worlds. But the energy of the Fane he consumed was not extinguished, and that vile Zalric redirected the magic, perverted it, destroyed its order, turned it into what it was when you found it. So I thank you for repairing the damage. Typically, I do not care much for the fate of mortals, but you have all earned Cobb's blessing. You all feel revitalized, rejuvenated. All your hit points have returned. All your spell slots are intact.
Yeah.
He waves his hand to the north end of the map, and you see a doorway. Please, take with you your friends. And you see him wave his hand in a circle around his head, or above his head, and you see all the other threads to all the other civilians get snipped one by one. Snip, snip, snip. They all rocket upwards. He trapped your friends here in the chaos of the Fane, but now it has no need of them to sustain itself. You have restored its power, and you have restored my window into your world. And as he does this, he kind of starts to shimmer and disappear and twist and turn, and you see that that same lattice of white stone or glass that you all first grabbed to come here, and it starts to peel away until you see a pearl white wand.
Okay, that was trippy.
It's just hovering in the middle right here. Right there. I don't mean to move the map. Maybe I should be off the map layer.
I'm gonna go grab it.
There we go.
I'll walk up to the dais, but I see Uno's taken off in a dead sprint.
Yeah, you grasp it. It feels like it was made for your hand. It beams with magical energy. And as you grasp it, you feel the urge to will it into a different shape. And you do, and it becomes a scepter. You do it again, and it becomes a staff. You will it back, it becomes a wand.
I'm gonna put it in scepter form because I feel like a pimp.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a big wand, and the head of it has this kind of spiral, almost mace-like tip to it, only it's very small. And it's just a gleaming, beautifully polished white wand, scepter, staff thing. And the doorway lays before you.
All right. Let us egress. I'll walk out.
All right. As you walk out, you find yourself back in the room with the Fane.
Oh, sweet Lord.
You let go at the same time this wand that at this point, as Koza and Kravish release their grip, you are holding it. And you all step back from the Fane, and it's no longer this twisting, whirling, erratic, chaotic mess. The light emitted from the Fane is very lattice-like and geometric order. It slowly rotates, casting odd shadows across the stone of the cave around you. You can see Neela as you all kind of come to. Neela is helping a few people up from the pile of what were corpses. It seems as though everyone is coming to, getting to their feet, dusting themselves off, helping other people who may have fallen and took damage. And on either side of this pile, you see your friends standing, looking at you all, beaming with pride as you have brought them back from whatever stasis or death or unconsciousness they were in. Axton just kind of rotates his fake arm and looks at Baranor, and Baranor looks at him, and they both nod with a smile and look back at you. Well, that sure was weird, Baranor says. Yeah, don't know where we were, but sure glad you guys were there.
Is that little ball of sparkles still there?
It is. It's in the corner of the room. As a matter of fact, I have a thing and I forgot to post, so you go to look for it and you find right where it was this cool little thing just sort of hanging out. Oh, come on, Discord. Don't get slow on me now. Ugh, the whole damn thing had to reset. You see this guy.
While they're all talking, I just quietly walk over to where that little sparkle is.
Yeah.
And either on one of the walls or the floor, whichever seems the softest, I'll draw my dragon claws out, and I'm going to scratch into the rock the symbol of Pelor.
Well, this thing is about 3 feet away from the wall, and as you're scratching, you're near it, you accidentally bump it with your shoulder, and it moves.
Okay, I'll touch it with my hand again, and
yeah, your hand can move it a couple inches at a time. But it moves in whatever direction you tap it towards.
You said it's like the size of a golf ball?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still scratch the symbol, but I'll try to take it in my hand.
You wrap your fingers around this ball of sparks, and it definitely feels like the pressure, like if you were to wrap your fingers around a sparkler tip when it's lit, but it doesn't burn. It just you feel that sensation, almost like something's tickling you from the inside of your from the inside of your grasp, and you kind of open your hand again, and it's just sitting in your hand, but it floats. Like it doesn't just sink to the ground. It doesn't float all the way up. It's just very static. It's almost like wherever you put it, that's where it stays in 3-dimensional space.
Gotcha. I just take it in my hand and I just hold it to my chest.
It kind of gets caught on your clothing and sort of stays there. Doesn't burn anything. It's just fizzling on your chest.
Okay. I'll just kind of pull whatever coat I have over it, and I'll walk back towards the others.
The journey to the center of the prison is quiet, somber, and fills your head with questions. Race manages to secure you passage off the site of the prison. The next day, there's lots of questions for the town of Cobb and the prison. Jarek, who you have met once, he is an underling of Race. Jarek is kind of put in charge of the prison while Race kind of like gathers some semblance of a council or some kind of temporary form of government to figure out what to do in the power vacuum that the sheriff and the reverend left behind. In the meantime, you are all shuttled to the mainland of Cobb. You are brought to the jail of your holding cells, and you are all given unconditional pardons for your efforts in freeing Cobb from its chains, from its imprisonment, from its own death, as it seems that the Reverend and the Sheriff weren't going to stop until all of Cobb were secured within the Fane to whatever power they were seeking. You're also given all of your belongings back.
Yeah.
Yay!
You slip your armor over your arms and legs and chest, securing it in place, wondering what the hell you ever did without it, as you feel your ACs collectively increase.
Yay! I have 18 AC again.
And as joyful as this is, getting your gear back, and you see kind of like looking at the new wand he got and looking at his old staff and his old wands and trying to figure out, what am I going to carry now?
Went out of a spell book.
Yeah, the page is torn out, which I'm going to say he's pretty, mending works with either prestidigitation or accident casting mending to fix his spells back into his spell book. That's not a problem.
I have mending.
You have mending? Yeah, you're able to repair your book, no problem at all. And as you're all kind of like, they hand you your stuff, Kravish, and you instantly go for Anthem's Edge and your belongings, your little doodads and knickknacks from home and things like that. When they hand you a bundle, like a canvas wrapped sack, and poking out of one side of one of the flaps, you see one of the fingerless gloves of Maven's pugilist gloves.
Oh. Don't do this, man.
They just kind of hand it to you like, this is y'all's, like, don't know what to do with it. You unwrap Maven's belongings. A bedroll, common clothes, fine clothes, a mess kit, a cobalt dagger that Baranor just kind of leans into, a short sword, a potion of the ram, her pugilist gloves, 2 rations, a tinderbox, one of the walkie-talkie earrings, a prayer book, a scroll box with quill and inks, and 2 copies of the Axton Woodman Bloom, A Man Throughout Time, rough draft. She had 122 platinum. She had 10 gold. And I'll put all this in the chat.
Okay.
She had 584 silver. And inside the book, Kravish, one of the drafts, you find a note, 2 pages. It's written in her hand. Do you wish to read this privately?
I do.
Or you do? All right, then I'm going to send this to you. And if you want to read it to the group, I will leave that to you. So I'll send you the first page. Okay. There's the first page. And their second page is this.
It says, Crown Collectors. If you're reading this, I've either met my end or have been unable to continue traveling with you. I'm sorry for my departure, and I'm so grateful to have experienced all of you. I know I'm a young woman, but I'd like to pass on some wisdom I've collected over my near century of life. I'd say I've seen some beautiful days. I've walked coastlines or woken on mountaintops. I've seen death and birth and kissed good lips. I've traveled with this beloved band of misfits and was scared. But I've ridden the fear, although I was afraid every single time. I've learned that every waking moment is enough, and excess never leads to better things. It only piles and piles atop the things that are already abundantly in front of you, like breathing and chasing and slow dancing and lovemaking and fighting and laughing. I am unworthy and distasteful to mostly everyone I meet. However, I am loyal to a fault to those I love. I do not and will not fear tomorrow, because I fear as though today has been enough. And fear is overdone and glorified, and always leaves you wanting. And the rest is for me.
Well, as you You all sort of stand around Kravish as he reads this off. You guys are, we'll say you guys are at the front kind of entrance of the jail, the sheriff's office. Just kind of that last beat sticking with you all as Kravish reads the rest of the letter to himself. And you imagine what lies ahead for the Crown Collectors now that you're finally free. You look around as the sun sets on Cobb, Neela curled under Koz's arm, Baranor looking to the distance, all of you thinking about what has happened here, what you've done for these people as they kind of pat you on the back as they pass. We're going to end the session.
That was so sweet.
It's so
Yeah, it's tough. This is a toughie.
Yeah.
I'm a little misty right now. I'm not gonna lie. I read her letter like 15 times.
I'm ugly crying.
But hey, that was a lot of fun. You guys solved the riddle of the Fane.
That was a really interesting session.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I like to mess around with magic and the fact that with magic you have to think your way out. You can't hit your way out. So I just tried to come up with an interesting puzzle for you all, and you guys made it. And you actually made it in relatively the exact amount of time that we wanted it to. So good job, you guys. Kenny, that was really fun to kind of probe your brain and see how it would crawl out of this predicament, and you guys did it all in fine fashion. So well done.
I still think that more fireballs would have fixed the problem faster.
Yeah.
Just like nuclear levels of temperature and just break the arcane lattice energy, and you guys just kind of spill out in a puddle. That would have been great. But all right, we are looking at
out of reality if reality is melted down.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking at November 2nd for our next session. I think by then we should have Bogey back, which is apropos because he just woke up. Well, Baranor did anyway. And I'm sure you guys will get to see Luna's babies.
Ooh.
I'm sure he's excited to show them to you. He already knows what they look like. But yeah, this is kind of the end of the Cobb arc. Although you guys obviously are going to have something to say as far as who leads Cobb from now on. So I think definitely will be an interesting kind of bookend to this arc next. Steph just wrote in. Like she knows we're talking about her. Yeah, it'll be a nice bookend to this arc, and we'll probably split it in half, where half of it is you guys kind of ending this storyline and figuring out what you want to do next. So we'll have to just wait and see.
We are now our own sovereign nation of Cobb.
That's right. Well, it actually kind of is. I don't think it's in the East. It's not under the Empire. It's kind of its own thing. There's no reason to say that you can't make it its own kingdom. You know, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
We now have diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. So, all right.
We're in Cobb.
Yeah, but just in Cobb. It's like a very specific perimeter. So, all right, boys. This was really fun. Thanks for showing up. I know it was kind of a short-staffed party, but I am in talks with some people about maybe jumping in on the party. It seems like it's getting some attention, and I'll run it up by you guys, like I said, and see what everybody thinks, and hopefully
skip over like the first 3 people that responded.
Yeah. It's like buying milk. You just you go for the one in the back. So, all right. Well, that's it for me. I'm hopping off. I'll see you guys on the 2nd, and have a great 2 weeks, folks, okay?
Adios.
All
Bye-bye.
Bye.